Total Smith here. Make sure y'all subscribe to my boy Downtown Deuce ASAP. Come on, man.
Destination restoration. Destination restoration. Destination restoration. Destination restoration. It's our time. Can you feel the elevation? We on a mission on vacation. Time to create the separation. Championships and motivation. 313 need no explanation. Miss me with all that conversation. We ready for the confrontation. Counting down to our destination. The final destination. Together all the time together. It's us against the world, it don't get no better. We turned it around, that was the beginning. Coming for the crown, you know we winning. Time to put in the work, I'm about to go for step. Taking our prisoners, it's my time. Yeah, I know that it hurts. Saying break out the church, you don't wanna see me in my prime. The mission is to ring, we're caught in everything. In the city, supporting the dream. Reaching new I never see, we deserve to be king. It's all or nothing, no in between. The clock is ticking and I hope you're listening. Don't touch me cause I'm sizzling. Physicality is tipping and mentality is menacing. The dog pound body's crippling. Now the clock is ticking and I hope you're listening. Don't touch me cause I'm sizzling. Physicality is tipping and mentality is menacing. The dog pound body's crippling. Yeah, to the elevation. We on a mission on vacation. Time to create the separation. Championships and motivation. 313 need no explanation. Miss me with all that conversation. We ready for the confrontation. Counting down to our destination. The final destination.
What up, though? Welcome back to another episode of the Downtown Dude Show with the boss. Hope you guys week is off to a good start on this Tuesday night. Boss, what's the word with you?
Oh, man. I mean, I feel good. I'm, of course, bummed when we lose, but I have a lot of positives to talk about today, which is something that I've lacked the past week. But overall, I mean, it's been beautiful weather in Denver. So, yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a good week.
Don't brag, man. It's like 30 degrees on a good day over here. It was nice last week, Monday. But
yeah, it's going to come bite us in the butt this summer for sure when we have fires and are advised to stay inside because of air quality. But now we'll take 70-degree days. So
yeah, I wish we'll get that probably in May.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's going on, chat? We see y'all in the chat, man, with your comments. Make sure you guys, if we miss you, go ahead and repost your comment, put it in caps lock, super chat, whatever you guys want to do to get our attention. Go ahead and do that, and we will do the best we can to get to you. Boss, before we get into this game,
yes,
let's talk about the results from this fundraiser we did last month, man.
Yeah. I mean, it blew my mind, guys. When Deuce told me the final total, I was in awe. Like, you guys really came through for Stu. You guys raised $626.45. That's
amazing.
50%. That's 50%. Like,
amazing.
And everybody on here, thank you so much. We're sending Stu this list so he knows personally what you guys did for him. Everybody with their star by their name contributed over $100 or more total, and so I just want to shout you guys out as well. But I am just look at that. Look at that, guys.
Incredible.
It is a bright spot, and of course, like, a win would have been nice tonight to top this off. But aside
from that, yeah,
and it's just that means that with this one,
we got the best community, Pistons community, period. Let me get that out the way. Go ahead, boss. I had to say that real quick.
And the Ron Holland Foundation combined, we've raised over $1,000.
That's crazy.
$1,000 for some of our players' charities. So, thank you guys. Truly,
you guys so much, man.
It's truly fantastic. And I mean, when we share it with Stu, we're gonna share it to our stories as well. Just shout you all out. I don't know. I don't know how to say thank you. I think Deuce and I, for our next one, we're going to try to have, just something to give back to you if you donate as well, because we just truly appreciate what you guys have done. So in 12 games, $626 is nothing to scoff at. So,
and we're not done. We're going to be doing some more fundraisers for some good causes as well. So we are off to a great start. You guys have done incredible work, man. Just being there for us, first of all, right? Just showing up like you guys always do. But then aside from that, just showing love to those who support and giving back to helping those that support. So you guys have been great, and we got more coming in already tonight, per usual. So the love you guys have shown us, we don't want to understate it. We don't want to spend too much time talking about the game without talking about this. So thank you guys so much for all your donations and your support and all of it, man. So looking forward to see what you guys do next, man, going forward with these other things we do. So I'm looking forward to it, boss. I'm excited.
Truly, thank you. Like, as I was typing every name, I was saying thank you to everybody, man, now you guys are to give in today in a world like this, just to give what you can, small or big, like it's just fantastic. It really just warms my heart and just reminds me of just the importance of community, no matter how big, no matter how small. Like it's incredible. It's definitely a bright spot today. So thank you.
Appreciate that, man. So boss, let's get into this game, man. And before we do that, we have to get to our guy Dominic, who always shows love, always lets us know exactly how he feels about the game, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So let's get to his comment first. Dominic says, bad Cade, even if Tyson was hacking on the press. No excuse to not feed Duren and Tobias in the second half, especially after Allen went out. Left too many shooters open and offensive rebounds. Harden's non-offensive fouls killed us. Yeah, it was a tough game. It was a hard-fought game. There wasn't any one thing that I thought was just glaringly bad. It was just a few different things that were enough of significance to kind of add up to this loss. So yeah, I agree with you, bro. Any thoughts on that, boss?
Yep, absolutely. He mentioned it and we'll get into it, but I think, some of the things in the late fall on Cade, which is unlike him, but again, overall, like this is the kind of loss that I welcome. Like we aren't, we looked more like ourselves tonight, and just a few things were a little off. And then when those things were off, a few things for the Cavs were a little on. You guys, I told you last time, like I am a Jalen Tyson fan, but it was like one of his better nights of the season for the Cavs. So they just had some of their guys just really pull through for them. And we fell behind a little bit. And I do give us a little grace. This was Stu's first game back. Yay. It was nice to see him out there. And any adjustment, like even, if it's 2 games, 5 games, 7 games, you're going to have the adjustment period. So I give a little bit of grace to that. Because I do think that there were a couple of times that Cade fed him more to try to get him going. And that ended up, it's like 50-50 positive or negative. So that's the little things, but they'll get back in the groove, and definitely seeing them at the end of the game, just kind of up on the bench, kind of realizing when Tyson was making his shooting his free throws, like they were kind of like, okay, this is it. Like they definitely looked, devastated, and they're a bounce back team. So, and what a better team to bounce back against than the Spurs in a couple of days. So, we'll get to that, but
for sure. I want to get to this comment real quick, boss.
Absolutely.
Attila says, can't stand the loss. How did I survive a 28-game losing streak? Yeah, perspective is important, isn't it? That is very important, man. So we just got to keep that in mind. It's just one game. We beat them last time, right? We're 45-15, so there's no need to trip. For anybody who didn't get a chance to watch this game, we'll just kind of go into it quickly. The Pistons fall short tonight to the Cleveland Cavaliers, 109-113, and they dropped to 45-15 on the regulars. It's still crazy to say they dropped to 45-15. It just puts it in perspective all over again for me. Not to doom and gloom. It was a hard-fought game, boss. Hard-fought game, man. As far as who was available, we had everybody available, right? We are fully healthy. Isaiah Stewart returned from his 7-game suspension. It was a welcome sight. The Pistons are going to absolutely need him for the stretch run. And I feel like this could have been, boss, a blessing in disguise. We know he's had some knee problems and leg problems in the past, as he gets to the playoffs. So I feel like just this time off really gave him time to kind of reflect on how important he is to this team. Even though we were 6-1, you still see we had to really fight to win some of those games just because we didn't have him in the paint. But we're going to need him for the stretch run as a playoffs approach. So I just think it's a blessing in disguise to have him available. So that's all I got on that. On the Cavs front, the Donald ducking continues, boss. Donovan Mitchell did not play again. in this game. They got the dub, but it's just interesting how that happens. And then Dean Wade and Max Strus were also missing for this game. So the Pistons went with the regular guys, Cade, Dunk, Ausar, Tobias, and JD. And guys, we are launching the poll for what you guys thought the reason for this loss was. So you guys can go ahead and have at that. But boss, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into some initial thoughts, man. What did you see tonight in this game that stood out to you?
Man, in the first half, I really saw us kind of rebounding our offense from the lack of offense this past week. We were hitting our threes. We looked pretty good there, but it felt like we overcorrected it so much that we lacked on defense. We let the Cavs get off to a 9-2 start. We didn't make a field goal for almost 8 minutes left. So like about 4 minutes in. But then we caught up. We got 13-13. I was really impressed by Duncan Robinson this game. If we had won, he would have been my player of the game, to be honest. I know Tobias had a great second half. I know that Ausar was doing things in there, but I don't know, something about Duncan tonight, just, he was just nonstop effort on both ends. So, but the Cavs just had some guys, so I saw some props to Schroeder. I talked about Tyson. Like, these are guys that don't get, 18 plus points a game, and they were able to tonight. I think even though James Harden ended up with 18, we still held him, pretty low. Same with Mobley. Mobley's been averaging like over 25 points and rebounds per game total since Donovan Mitchell's been out, and we held him less than that tonight. So we did some good things, some much better things. It was a much better, even though we lost, I feel like it was a much better matchup than our first matchup last week. We even made it close in the end, but there's just I think the theme going in is we're still struggling a little bit in the first half to really punch it and get going fast. But overall, everyone kind of had their quarter. Cade's mid-range was automatic the first half, so I'm questioning why he only got 2 points in the second half. Tobias showed up for us. There was an ATN Wu show in the fourth. And the first, again, I really credit a lot of it to Dunk. Ron made 2 threes. Jenkins was hitting. So there were a couple decisions, and I was kind of thinking about it today. And it's not coming from me. It's coming from a Reddit post someone made on the Pistons thing. And they kind of were because I've talked about how I wouldn't mind a 12-man rotation in the playoffs. But even last year, we cut Fontecchio from our playoff run. We had more like a 9-man rotation. So the rotations were a question that that you talked about, that I've had questions about, that you guys in the chat have questions about. I wouldn't be surprised if that's number 1 on the poll when we check. But I'm wondering if they're trying to shorten it, and that's why we didn't see as much as some players that I thought we should have, or players playing at the same time. But overall, I think we looked more like ourselves this game, but of course just couldn't pull it out. It was probably our best loss of the season, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
It was a loss, but it was our best one, I would say.
It wasn't a game like the Wizards where we just completely dropped the ball and didn't bring the effort, or
any of the blowouts in the beginning of the season, or I think against even the Celtics lately. We just kind of, because even in the clutch time, we kind of pulled it together. But the Cavs are just hot from beginning to end. So what can you really do about that except just So of course we fell short in a couple areas, and that's why we lost. But this is a loss that I'm not going to be, that's not going to worry me about our future. It does not worry me about our playoff matchup, even though it might do some of you guys as well. But it doesn't worry me, but it's a bummer at the same time.
Yeah. Let's get to some comments and then we'll keep it pushing. I'll give you my thoughts, boss. Heisenberg says, shame we wasted a decent 3-point shooting night and a Tobias 20-point game tonight. Bro, I'm going to get to why I think that actually happened. Those 2 things you said, for sure. Kevin says, Pistons only produce 10 turnovers. They're going to struggle. Cleveland is going to be tough. I agree with that, for sure. Yeah. And then because one comment speaks to the offense and one speaks to the defense. So we're gonna get to both of those for sure. And then Dominic says, honestly, I thought we lost the moment Duncan tried to break down the defense and kick to Ausar for his first 3-point attempt in 15 games in crunch time. Not the time or place, immediate face palm. Yeah, it was tough. I mean, nothing else is really going on there, though. It was kind of a broken play at that point. The set kind of broke down. It wasn't really much there. he kind of got caught with the ball a couple times tonight offensively, but I'm not really going to get on Duncan tonight, guys. I'm not. I felt he did so many things other than scoring in this game that were just great. He didn't score a ton of points, but Cade didn't score a ton of points either, you know, so I think it was a collective effort. But I thought Duncan Robinson, the things that we've asked from him, boss, at the start of the season when he was shooting pretty decent, are starting to show. So when it's flip-flopped and he's not shooting the ball decent and he's playing great defense, then I can't really fault him for that because he's not always going to shoot great or make the right decision every time. But defensively, he was great. He was probably as good as I've seen him all year. In an individual game defensively for sure.
And my thing was his off-ball movement on offense. He made the right decisions. He knew when to shoot it. He knew when to pass it. He was constantly moving. He was constantly staying open. I thought this was one of Dunk's better games. But I
hear what you're saying, though. I hear what Dom is saying.
I do agree, but it's also hard because they switched on him so much. But Duncan they switched on him so much. And that again, went kind of 50-50, like either the defender or whoever he was defending got by him, or he even had stops on Harden at times. Like he was kind of like, if he stayed on Sam Merrill the whole game, I don't think you could argue that his defense broke down, but of course, like they're going to switch to him and he did his best out there. I mean, I'm just constantly impressed by him because he's just never stops moving. And it's just something that's something that's so easy to do. I mean, I think even though, he ended with 8 points and Merrill ended with 9. Like, I think he definitely did. He had 2 steals and 2 blocks.
For sure.
He outplayed Sam Merrill tonight. And that's kind of all you can do is outplay your one-on-one and just do the best on everything else.
Sam Merrill is like their Dunk. Because he was getting hunted out. He was getting hunted out too.
Yes, exactly.
Half especially,
we played pretty good against him too. He only ended with 9 points, and they were all threes. But and it would have been nice. Our 3-point shooting was good in the first half, and then we just didn't find it in the second. I couldn't tell you if that was just a lack of, more so us trying to get back to our game in the paint, or if it was their defense defending well on the perimeter. Probably a little bit of both.
The former, I would say more than the latter for sure.
Okay, good to know. But I did, I do. That's why we'll talk about it, some rotations. I would like to see some other guys that were in there that were making threes. But yeah, to me, it was more of like a team effort thing. But there were a lot of guys that there were a lot of positives about tonight's game. I know it's a loss, but just even looking at the box score, even as I'm looking at my notes, I just feel like there's a lot of positives, and we just fell short by 4 points to a good team. This wasn't, this wasn't the Bucks. This wasn't the Nets. This was the Cleveland Cavs, who have been on a roll even before they got Harden.
I agree.
They're going to fight for their position. They've been a top East team for a few years now. So
yeah, I agree with that. So as far as what I saw, you kind of hit on it already, but the Pistons trailed for almost this entire game.
Yeah.
They were down almost the entire year, playing uphill the entire game. And it's because they came out sluggish again, especially defensively. You talked about the score, 9-2 to start the game. Quick timeout by JB. They hit first. All the things you want to see the Pistons do, they allowed the Cavs to do because they came out sluggish. And that's why we always say you got to hit first. You got to kind of set the tone for how this game is going to go early. Are you calling the first timeout, or are they calling the first timeout? And tonight it was us. They hit us first. You talked about that at length. You talked about the last 3 or 4 games now, boss. The Pistons have not really hit first. They haven't really set the tone. They've had to come from behind and kind of work themselves back into these last few games. And in the second quarter, after going up what seemed like a minute, they got lackadaisical again. They stopped rotating well. They stopped closing out the shooters. They stopped getting back on defense, just letting the offense get completely behind them and score. So they got to make sure they're not only starting games better, but they got to sustain it.
Right.
These defensive lapses are killing us. You talked about how we shot well, but it really didn't matter. It's because defensively we just weren't locked in for 48 minutes. So that's going to hurt you in the playoffs, especially.
Yeah, but especially because this is what this tells me is the last game we were able to come back and beat the Cavs in clutch time. And today they had a solid 9 to 11 point lead for most of the second half, and we still were able to cut it close. So what that tells me is that if we, I think, had gained some momentum or had the lead at some point, we probably would have held it. I think we are the better clutch team. Donovan Mitchell and Cade are both top 3, top 5 at least, but I would even say top 3 in clutch points made. So I can't speak to when Mitchell's on the floor. for
Right.
clutch points and everything, clutch time baskets. But even though we lost tonight, we lost in a way that, you know, we could have won if there were Cade made a crucial turnover late.
Yeah, he had a couple late.
We didn't foul early enough on one of the possessions. You know, I even think, you know, JB didn't even try. I know we were down by 4, but he didn't even try to call a timeout. We had timeout remaining. I was kind of surprised he didn't call a timeout as soon as we got the rebound. He just kind of ended it. Because we just saw that with Murray when we were playing the Nuggets. They had less than a second left and were able to get almost a 4-point conversion out of that. So, I don't know. To me, that tells me that we can beat the Cavs, but we need starting better. But that's been the trend. Like, even though this was our best game, I think in the last 4 or 5 games, the trend has been slow starts. So that's something that we absolutely have to work on, whether it's the quarter, whether it's the half. Like, we need to come out and, you know, get it done early and get that job done early for sure.
The biggest thing for me, this is what I'm probably going to harp on all show. Sorry, guys. Sorry in advance. Boss, we didn't see JD and Stu until late in the second quarter, maybe even the second half, third quarter. Guess how many minutes they played together tonight?
2.5.
25% of that. They played about 30 seconds together in this game. So that was disappointing for me, for all the talk of, you know, not being able to wait till Stu got back. And Stu didn't play. He played good. He didn't play great. You could tell he was off for about 7 games, right? But I don't see how you only play them together for less than a minute. I need even if you don't think they should start, because Tobias played great, so I'm not even going to talk about that right now. But even if you don't have Stu start, you got to play him. You got to play him with JD, especially.
Oh, you're muted. You went mute. Now you're back.
Am I gone? Hold on.
Now you're. So I just. Yeah, we lost you for a minute. You went mute for a second, but.
You got me?
Yep.
Am I good?
You're just talking about why you need to play them together because, and then you went mute.
Okay, my bad. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But yeah, especially in games when you're playing a 2 big lineup like this, like you have to have those guys playing together. We saw JD play, you know, pretty solid early in the first half, being able to score well. But when you're playing a team that's got Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, and Bryant, you got to play those guys together. We saw JD pick up 2 quick fouls early. I don't think that happens if you have Stu playing with him.
Agreed.
I just don't think that happens. So I feel like had they played together more, we would have saw a different outcome, because we'd have been able to control the pace of the game, holding them to one shot, being able to get out and run, which we didn't do tonight, right? Too many second chance opportunities for 3-pointers. I just don't see why you don't play those guys together, especially when you have Stu available and they're playing those 2 big guys or 3 big guys. You know, I just feel like you got to find a way to get them on the court. You have to.
No, I agree, especially because we have, like, everybody here is a fan of B-Ball Paul. We all know what B-Ball Paul can do. If you hate B-Ball Paul, I want to know why. Truly, if you just hate B-Ball Paul, you know, because there's kind of no reason. He's a great guy, great player, all the stuff that we know when we have such a deep, you know, center position, there's kind of no reason not to play both. And whether Mobley and Allen are in at the same time, or again, when Allen got hurt and went out, I do hope he's okay. He is one of the players I like in this league, so I wish nothing ill will towards him. But then, you know, then we almost had the advantage and we chose not to use it. So again, I do think that JB was frustrated with some of the defense in the first, and then I don't know, was maybe trying a few things in the second, but I was kind of like 30 seconds of them on the floor together.
Crazy, right?
Ridiculous. And Stu didn't look like his full self. Like, he definitely looked good. He got 2 blocks, like he registered Stu things, but he didn't look 100% like ready, as excited as he was. You could tell that because he had a couple turnovers. You can tell he was excited to be there. And again, that's why I also give this team grace. So and again, we'll get into it more, guys, and absolutely, you know, have your critiques for this game, like we always say, but I will preface, like, we only lost by 4, and we don't think that we would. I don't think we would lose. I don't think we would lose in a 7-game series against them, no matter what the Cavs want to believe. They've come out and talked about how they think they're in a different class than us. This is how the Cavs have been rolling for a few years, and they have nothing to show for it. It's kind of like the Knicks, in my opinion. Like, you can have these things, and like here we are as fans excited about the growth of our team, and our window is just opening. But I mean, personally, I got to see the Nuggets face the Clippers in the playoffs last year, and I watched Harden's downfall. It's kind of been the jinx. Greg Kelser said it himself. He's never really been on a bad team. He just hasn't been able to bring things for them. And who knows if we'll face off against them. They're a very high candidate. They're a high candidate, but they don't have anything to show for it. They've been in the playoffs and had better playoff position and experience than we have in the past few years, and yet we are still with them this year.
First last year.
Yeah, exactly. So we will see how that goes. Just don't fall into that trap. Let the Cavs fans have their fun because they did beat us tonight. But it's still I'm still in the phase of, I know they've been winning with Harden here with Mitchell, but I do think that especially come playoff time and I think even they have to fight with the Knicks and Celtics for position. I think we're going to see some of that personality clash because those Daniss, Schroeder, Donovan Mitchell, and James Harden are probably the 3 people that like to take the ball into their own hands and clutch opportunities the most. So we'll see how it plays out.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it, boss. Let's get to this poll real quick, guys, as to the reason you guys thought we lost this game. So 44% says Cavs just outplayed the Pistons. 32% says defensive lapses. 14% says slow start. And 10% say Pistons need to go bigger. So y'all do not agree with me tonight. But let's go ahead and I see you. Your boss definitely has bars for sure. Y'all know she be dropping that knowledge. But yeah, let's get to some of these individual box scores, boss, and look a little bit deeper into this game. So, guys, we're going to start with Cade. Tonight, guys, Cade finished with 10 points on 4 of 16 shooting. All 3 from 3. He could not get a shot to fall tonight. 2 of 2 for the free throw line, 6 boards, and 14 assists. And 5 turnovers for a pretty good 3-to-1 ratio almost. 1 steal and a block for 2 stocks in 39 minutes. 39 minutes led the team tonight. Led both teams tonight, boss. What'd you see tonight from Deuce?
It was obviously the assist category, 14 assists is fantastic. We also had 2 guys record double-doubles tonight, and there were no Cavs that record double-doubles. That also just shows me that they, it was a team effort for them tonight. But Cade, I had a couple of positives, so I'll share those first. In the first quarter, he scored our first field goal at 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Guys, so that means that in the first quarter and in this, was it the second or third quarter, we went like 4 minutes without a field goal. Yeah. That also shows me that it's just not, it was just a little off because that doesn't happen to us often. So, and the Cavs did come out swinging. Like a lot of you guys voted the Cavs outplayed us, and I do think that they played very good defense. But we just could not get a field goal to sink a couple times this game in nearly 4 minutes. Or less than 4 minutes in the first, a little bit over 4 minutes in either the second or third. I think it was the third. Yeah. Or no, it was the second. But he got our first field goal for us. In the second, he kept feeding Stu, and that just showed me that he was just trying to get Stu going. Again, that was kind of 50-50. Stu either finished at the basket or it came a little short. But that's, we got Stu back and he did Stu things, but I don't think he's 100% himself yet in terms of coming back into our rotation after 7 games missed. I mean, it was practically a month. Of 7 games seems, less. It was a long time because he can't even be with the team during those times. Like he can't be in the facility when we're playing games. And then in the fourth, he had that really nice block on the Harden dunk attempt. He was showing up on defense in the fourth for sure. But it
wasn't consistent, but it was like in spurts with his defense.
Well, that's like it. So the beginning in the first half, he had some slow closeouts. Kelser even called it out himself. Like the closeouts weren't there. Some of the defense wasn't there. And he got into foul trouble again tonight. He ended with 5 fouls. And the last time we played, he fouled out. So something about the Cavs. And I honestly think it's the way he's being defended. Jalen Tyson and Keon Ellis are 2 young guys in this league that I genuinely like. But they do get to grab and hold when he's off ball. Yeah. And like the minute he gets the ball, they make it tough. But like before he gets the ball, he's being pulled, he's being held. I personally don't understand it only because like Ausar is obviously a great perimeter defender. But I feel like if he ever defended a star like he does with Brunson, almost like that, he would get called for an foul right away. So, and I'm not going to blame the refs because they did let a lot of stuff slide tonight. I feel like they did call it pretty evenly, the whistle. So I'm not going to be too mad at the refs tonight. But
yeah,
I don't know if it was just Cade being frustrated. I thought the challenge that they had on Cade was kind of a bad challenge, but I understand why they did it because the Cavs challenged Keon Ellis's block, and you would rule that his other arm was pushing Duren. So, but I think it was like almost the exact same play, but this time they've ruled it in favor of the Cavs again and said that Cade was pushing in the back. And we saw JB, kind of talking to the refs after that. And I think that's the whole reason they called it, because they're like, well, obviously you set this precedent. So Cade, should be off this, but they didn't hold that up. It was a tough challenge to lose only because we definitely could have challenged something later on that I think could have swayed the game a little bit more in our favor. But overall, Cade, a rough scoring night, even though his mid-range was, he couldn't get it at the rim, he couldn't get it at the perimeter, but his mid-range was automatic. It was automatic. Like he was scoring, he's getting open shots, he was getting his own shots, he was scoring contested, like his mid-range was pure. So just a bummer that we didn't get a little bit more out of him in the second half. And then the turnovers were kind of in crucial moments tonight. It's like these past few games, he's really racked up his turnovers. And of course, last game we said that that's arguable because you are obviously the main ball handler, all of that stuff. But a couple of them were really unforced and came in crucial moments, whether it was to just get us the lead or at the end of the game, we had one that was a little tough. So I don't think it falls on any individual person tonight, but it's just that's not something we've been seeing from Cade in crunch time, is mistakes like that lately.
Yeah. I'm seeing some comments about the lack of shooting and how Trajan should have did this and should have got that guy. We shot better from three than they did tonight.
We did good.
They made more, but they took a ton more.
46.
Right? We shot 38% from three, didn't we, tonight? And they shot 37%. So we outshot, like they shot 46 threes, right? We shot 24.
I mean, when I saw that, my mouth dropped because I was like, that's actually so. And again, they only won by 4. So some of those threes just ended up hitting it. It was more like we lost this game because of opportune times. Like either, we pulled it within 1 and then they would hit a 3, or we pulled it within 1 and we would turn it over. Like opportune times, like usually, how we say how Wu has crucial timing on his threes, or Jenkins has had a crucial timing on his threes. Tonight, the Cavs had crucial timing that helped them stay ahead. And we made mistakes in those crucial times.
I agree. Yeah. So I just want to blame on the shooting because we all talk about shooting. That's not who we are right now. Even when we do have improved shooting on our team, it's still not going to be who we are. Yeah. We're just going to be to shoot a little bit better. So I'm not even really concerned about the shooting, especially tonight when we outshot them as far as percentage. But as far as, Cade didn't really look like himself. I know that, he was getting hacked. He's always getting hacked. And that's not an excuse because guys should not be allowed to get away with hacking him as much as they do without fouls being called when he's a top 3 MVP candidate. He's a top 3 candidate for MVP. Like he needs to get he needs more respect. He needs more respect and he doesn't get it. So I'm not going to blame tonight though on just that because that's been the thing all year. We've seen him go off despite we always talk about the free throw discrepancy. He doesn't really get a good whistle. He hasn't got a good whistle his whole career, including this year. So I'm not going to say that was the reason because we've dealt with that all year. He just didn't look like himself. Exactly. I know he played a lot. He played 40 minutes. He played a lot. And I thought early he was aggressive. Looking for his offense, he was aggressive, looking to get downhill, looking to take advantage of guys like Sam Merrill and Schroeder and Keon Ellis on mismatches and switches. But in the third quarter, he just kind of, I don't know if it was because of Jalen Tyson, who is a pretty good defender. He's a good player. I do like Jalen Tyson. Good shooter, good defender, but he's not just a 3-and-D guy. He's got a little bit of offense too. Right. So I think he's a good player. But I just felt like in the third quarter, Cade really was bothered by his size and his length and his ability to make Cade guard because Cade was kind of leaving him a little bit too much in this game, leaving him open, not staying attached to him, and you saw Jalen Tyson knocking down some big threes. So I think that kind of made things tough. But then too, defensively, it wasn't a 48-minute game for Cade. It wasn't a 48-minute game, right? We saw him make great individual plays, right? But we didn't see, like you mentioned, the closeouts. The perimeter closeouts were bad in the first half, where he's just kind of jogging out there to Sam Merrill or jogging out there to the guy. Like, that's not the Cade we usually are accustomed to seeing. So he didn't play with the same physicality. He wasn't moving those puppies like we normally see. He wasn't closing out. And I always say, boss, I always say, you can tell by how Cade is feeling when you watch him defensively. When he's locked in the whole game defensively, he's always going to do what he does offensively as far as responsibility. But when you're seeing him do it as a two-way for most of the night, and he's giving you the energy, the effort, and the physicality, and he's getting the highlight blocks and steals, that's how you know he's feeling good. It didn't seem like he was, I won't say he was under the weather or anything, but he just didn't seem like he was as locked in as he usually is, especially starting on that end. Offensively, when he gets buckets, I'm like, cool. But it's the defense for me that kind of tells me when he's really engaged. I just didn't see that all game.
That's like, it was kind of just like, okay, he had offense in the first half. Again, his mid-ranges were great. And then his like defense picked up in the second half. Like, he didn't have both at the same time.
Right. It wasn't connected. I agree.
Right. And so, and I think he's aware of it, and this team is. And so that's, again, why we're not going to doom and gloom. Like, Cade isn't All-Stars, player of the month. For the second time this year. He's obviously a great, again, still finished with a double-double, just a great guy for a team. And so that's why I'm not worried. Again, if he pops off and gets his usual, 20 plus, there's just no way, So just a couple of things, and he's aware of it, and these guys are aware of it. Again, like you saw their faces at the end of the game, like they know. And they don't want it to happen again. And Schroeder also had a good game. He kind of popped up. I think he was just kind of looking for his, not revenge game against us, but I've talked about it a few times. Just like Tobias popped off against his former team, the Magic. LeVert didn't pop off with his former team, the CAVS, the past couple games, even though I want him to. So you just tend to sometimes, go in that direction. And Schroeder was just, I think all these guys have love for Schroeder, and he has love for all of them, and he wanted to just show what he could do tonight. And he was another guy that can be hit or miss, and he was on tonight, and that with Tyson's production, I think just really helped them get the lead over us and get this small margin win. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So it wasn't a great game, guys, from Cade, but once again, player of the month, you don't earn player of the month twice, being the only player in the NBA to win the player of the month award. You don't earn that over one game. You don't lose it over one game. So we're not going to trip over one game. I think as we get towards the end of the season, if and when we do lock up the number one seed, you may see Cade getting some well-deserved rest just to make sure he's fresh. And some of these guys, just to make sure they're fresh for the playoffs, you're allowed to have a bad game here and there. He's been an MVP candidate most of this year, the entire season. He's earned it. So I'm not going to say, we got to be, nothing's going on that we're worried about. It's just a bad game. He didn't play great. He was trying to facilitate, get guys the ball. It wasn't a complete game from Cade on both sides like we're used to seeing. So I'm going to give him a pass because he normally is on his game. So we'll leave it there. Yeah. I agree, Clifton. Yeah, he's the leading candidate right now. So there's whether you want to argue Shea or Jokic, they better play every single game just to be eligible. So in my opinion, Cade is the leading candidate. But yeah, I think there is some fatigue going on as well. I'm watching him defensively, and he just didn't seem as fresh and engaged like he usually is. So that's all I got on Cade. Agreed.
All right, guys, we'll leave it there on Cade. We'll keep it pushing. Let's go now, boss, to Duncan Robinson, guys, in this game. Finished with 8 points on 2 for 6 shooting overall, 2 of 5 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 2 boards, 3 assists, and 2 turnovers to go along with 2 steals and 2 blocks for 4 stocks for Duncan Robinson, guys. 4 stocks in 34 minutes. Boss, what did you see tonight from Dunk?
Man, I have so many positive notes, but I just want to say 2 of 5 isn't my favorite. We'd rather see 3 of 5, of course, 3 of 6. He couldn't get some of the shots off. I think his effort on both ends, like we've had people in the chat question, like if we give effort on one side, does that tire us on the other? That might have affected him a little bit, but obviously one more 3 from him would have kept us even closer. But he hit his first 3 of the game for us and was pretty good there, and then just couldn't really find a good shot after that. But the defense is just impressive. 2 steals and 2 blocks. And they talked about in the game, his career high is 3 blocks, but his 2 blocks were So nice. Yes, I was very impressed with him tonight. He would have been, if we had pulled this one out, he would have been my player of the game. He would have been my vote for the game. Absolutely. So some notes I have for him in the first half.
Yeah, explain why. Explain why, because I see a lot of people saying he didn't score a lot. So go ahead and talk about it.
In the first quarter, he had great off-ball movement on offense. He was on the baseline. He was in the paint. He would cross the court, and he would either give the ball up. He had assists. He had ball movement. Like, he only ended with 3 assists, but like he definitely has some hockey assists in there, because he was what was helping us move the ball, which was important against the zone defense that the Cavs put on us in the first half. In the second, or he hit a 3 early, and then the second he knocked the ball free, led to a turnover, and then led to his own free throws on the other end. And he blocked Merrill's 3 on the perimeter. And the third, he hit a 3 on our first possession, just got us going. And the fourth, he had a steal to a Jenkins basket. It was a little bit later in the fourth. And then he blocked Sam Merrill at the rim. At the rim! He blocked Sam Merrill at the rim.
Exactly.
He channeled his inner Stu, and he went up there and he got the block. And so I was just very, very impressed by his defense, but also just, yes, he didn't get a lot of shots up. And yes, he was, 2 for 5, less than 50%. But
I'll take that. That's still 40,
Right.
I'll still take that.
For me, though, like especially when he's hitting early, and we see a couple of these guys hitting early, and I would of course love more closer to 3 or 4, but like 2 of 5 is nothing I'm ever going to complain about.
Yeah.
But I just think that everything else that he did contributed to us at least staying in the game. Like you said, we didn't have a lead in this game at all, really. I don't think, maybe by 1 point or 2 points.
It was
we had like a 4 or 5 point lead. You had a 4 or 5 point lead. We got rid of that fast.
Yeah.
But Dunk, he played 34 minutes, and he took advantage of those minutes out there. Of course, we want to see a couple more of his shots go in, or him get the opportunity to shoot a little bit more. But his decision making was really great tonight. He had 2 turnovers, but I can't even really recall them, and they weren't unforced, that I can say for sure, because he just really seemed to have a grasp on this game. And that gives me hope too. Again, if we do end up seeing these guys in the playoffs, like Duncan's energy and the way he played tonight gives me, because he was just a few threes off, or just a few more shot attempts off from having a game similar to Jalen Tyson's or Dennis Schroeder's tonight for the Cavs. So I really like Duncan tonight overall.
What up to Tom? Says, oh, well, can't win them all. We good. On to the next one. Appreciate you, bro. As always, man. So one thing we always talk about, boss, is if you play a lot of minutes, if you play 30 plus minutes, right? If you're not scoring the ball, you got to be giving us something on defense, right? And I felt tonight, I won't say 34 was warranted, but I'm not like looking at it, I'm not mad. Normally you see 34 minutes and 8 points with Duncan, you're like, oh, you're immediately going to the stocks. You're immediately going to the rebound. Like, you're looking at other things, right? Because Ausar doesn't play. He doesn't score a ton of points, but we know he brings defensively, so he can play a lot of minutes. But I thought Duncan was as good defensively as maybe Ausar, and then after that, everybody. Right. I just like what he brought. Like, when I see 4 stocks from Dunk, I know the effort is there. He is not a superior athlete by any shape of the imagination, guys, at all. But he just gives the effort. I think honestly, boss, players and like guys aren't used to him giving this kind of effort. And that's what allows him to get some of these blocks, some of these steals, because they're used to him in their mind being a cone or not being able to stay in front. And I think they're kind of getting caught off guard by how much effort he's giving. And I think that's what's allowing him to go ahead and get some of these extra steals, extra blocks. You've seen guys take shots at the rim, like Sam Merrill at the rim. He's not expecting Duncan Robinson to get to that block. He's not, there's no way. So just the effort he's giving. Of course, we want to see him shoot. He didn't even shoot bad. 40% is good. But we would like to see him get more threes, obviously. But the thing for me is that he's also, because they're game planning for that. They're game planning for him, coming off screens and getting the ball up. So what they're doing is they're crowding him now. So what I like that he's doing is making the adjustment. We saw him again, boss, put the ball on the floor and get to the rim multiple times. And he would either finish at the rim or he find a cut in JD for a dunk. So it's not always going to be there offensively, but defensively, he's given us enough. Like you said, giving the belt tonight. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be tangible based on the box score. I just felt he did a lot of good things defensively in a night when we could have been locked in more defensively. Like we had a good chance to win this game. And I think a big part of it was Duncan Robinson and just the effort he brought and how he was able to get stops, help us get stops.
Absolutely. And, even the 2 of 5, like it was his only scores, and then he got fouled on a shot and made it both his free throws. But he had 2 threes. Like it just surprises me because, again, like he just felt like he's just someone I noticed early. And often he was kind of involved in a lot of the turnover plays. He was disruptive. If he even didn't again, if we included the disruptions, I think he'd have even more to show for his stocks and what he contributed. So for that, I'm very grateful for him. And it just seems like he's been picking it up lately. It's something that I've mentioned a few times, and obviously we've been aware of his effort, but it feels like he knows that he's out there and he's trying to get the basket. Merrill too. Merrill wasn't a cone on defense. Like Merrill really covered him well as well. They were really battling with each other pretty much all game. There were a lot of jersey grabs that could have been called both ways. And again, that's why I'm not going to go at the refs, because they did let them play physically. It felt more like a playoff game, to be honest. I do think that he, if this is the Duncan that we get going forward, even if it's, I think we obviously need at least 1 or 2 more threes, a little bit more production, but he absolutely makes up for some of the lack of production, which isn't him not getting open. And it isn't him not trying. It's just him not throwing up shots for the sake of it. It definitely is just trying to get, to make the right decision for his team, which I think he definitely did tonight. And the defense was just insane to play 34 minutes again. And any NBA player, especially a starter, should be able to play the full game. I remember a Kobe quote about that after our playoff series with them in 2004, just being like, if I can't play 48 minutes, then I shouldn't be a basketball player. But I do think that, to have a block on Merrill so late in the fourth quarter just shows that he's in shape. He's not tired. And if he is tired, he's fighting through it. To do that. He could have just posted up and just let him have the easy layup, but he said nah, and he blocked it. So
it's an effort thing. And it's not like he took 10 threes and only made 2. Like he only took 5 shots in this game. So if anything, you got to run more plays to just get him involved in the offense. Because even when he was getting crowded off the catch, he still had 3 assists, guys. So he's still making plays regardless of that. So for me, it's just, if anything, I know we're used to seeing guys like Malik Beasley last year, go, 5 for 11 at times, 7 for 15 from 3 at times, which is like crazy. Everybody's not like that, right? From a volume standpoint, I'm not expecting Duncan Robinson to get up that many threes a game. I'm just not. I'm not the same player, right? So for me, it's just get him more involved in the offense. Find ways to get him more involved in the offense, whether it's as a creator, playmaker, or a shooter. But I'm not, he only took 5 shots and he made 4% from 3 and he gave you defense. So not much more you can ask for him.
He's been recording I feel like he's been averaging like a steal a game, and he's also, recorded 3 assists tonight, which is actually the 3rd most on our team. So he is fine, even though of course we wanted to see his threes go in because we're a little bit spoiled from Beasley last year, but also we know that's like Duncan's role here. He's also figured out how to pretty quickly, guys. Like I implore you guys to go rewatch some of our games earlier this season. You can on League Pass and just see that he has really just kind of fit in well with the scheme of things and understood what he needs to do. And he's made the right decisions with, again, assists. And I had him, I guess he only got his 2nd assist in the 3rd, but I had him at 2 assists in the 1st. I don't know if they just didn't register because maybe some dribbles or moves, but he definitely has a little bit more of shot creation for other guys than may be recorded on the box score for sure. I
agree. By the way, boss, we have a Cleveland fan in the building.
What's up?
Anyway, good game, y'all. Just wanted to stop by. What's going on, man? What's going on? I appreciate you not coming in here and gloating like crazy unless I missed it and you did.
A little bit. Couple guys, but we're always welcome. Good. Cleveland's a team that I have not been against.
Just make sure you come back if and when we beat y'all.
Come back if
we running
the playoffs. And
no we'll anonymous comments.
Either way, come back and we'll talk about it. But you guys, they're a good. They're an interesting
good team. They're a good team.
To see what they do this year, but I'm also curious where they go next year. I don't really know. I don't know their contract situation. I know they have like Jalen Tyson. Like if you guys want to give us Jalen Tyson, I'll be cool with that. I think he would fit in well here. To be honest, he's been one of my favorite players all season, and I feel like If you're a Pistons fan, tell me, guys. You guys tell me. If you're a Pistons fan and you haven't seen Jalen Tyson and what he's been doing this season, how do you feel about him? Because the last game, I think some people were kind of against him because he defended Cade pretty well. And I could see that a little bit. Even Kelser compared him to Dylan Brooks a little bit in a positive way. Yep. But I've been a fan of Tyson since he made his appearance. He's kind of been their Jenkins. They're kind of surprised. They're surprised this season. Okay. So I'm just curious how Pistons fans feel about him after seeing him a couple games if you weren't aware of his game before, because I really like him.
He's a good player. He's a good player, man. All right, guys, let's keep it pushing, man. Let's go now to Ausar Thompson in this game, guys. Ausar Tasmanian. Thompson finished with 16 points on 7 for 11 shooting. All of them from 3. Looked so good. So I thought it was going in. 2 of 4 from the free throw line. 6 boards, 6 assists, only 1 turnover for a great ratio again. 4 steals and a block for 5 stocks. Man, in 31 minutes, boss. Take off on what you saw from Ausar, backbone of the defense, Tasmanian Thompson in this game. Boss.
He was so fun tonight. Again, this is like the 3rd game in a row where I'm like, I love it. I love it, Ausar. Just what he's doing. I have tons of notes on him. In the first, he was just soaring for rebounds. Soaring. Yep. And also, there are a couple of passes that I'm like, if that wasn't Ausar Thompson, that would have been a turnover. Yep. He has been happy. He reminds me I'm curious to know his wingspan, because he's starting to remind me of Tayshaun Prince, where like you could be a little off, but the ball would still end up in the hands because the wingspan was there. I probably know it, but deep down, I'm just like, he looked just more like he can grab the ones that aren't especially on target.
So quickly, he has a 7-foot wingspan, just like Tayshaun Prince had.
Like Tayshaun Prince, who I'm wearing tonight, by the way.
Shout out. Okay.
My red tay
down block. I ain't mad.
Yeah. Oh, my favorite. If only Ausar can get his 3 game going. He almost did. It wasn't actually that bad.
I ain't mad. You know what? He shot the ball, boss.
Well, because they weren't, and finally, because there were a couple times that he tried to fake it to draw a guy on him, and they were like, nah. And he did shoot it. And it wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. I've seen worse from even, I think, someone had an air ball tonight. Was it Tobias? Was it Wu?
Tobias. Well, yeah, Tobias had one early.
Yeah, someone that we kind of rely on, the 3 as an air ball. So, like, he had an air ball. He got the rim. But anyways, in the second, he forced a turnover with a swipe off of Allen's knee. And then he scored our first field goal in over 4 minutes. So, yeah, it was the first and the second that we went like almost 4 minutes both times without field goals. Come on. He took it all the way to the rim on that one, which is exactly what I wanted him to do. Like, it was like 1-on-2 or 2-on-2, and he took it all the way. And I was like, yes, Ausar.
Yep.
He had a great in the paint turnaround jump shot over Evan Mobley. This wasn't over Sam Merrill. This wasn't over Craig Porter Jr. This was over Evan Mobley. He got it. In the third, he had that block on Schroeder from behind. In the fourth was like his quarter, which is why I was kind of hoping he would pull it out for him again. But he had that steal to a Wu basket. He had a pocket pick on Harden, which is a lob to the Wu dunk. And then he had a huge assist to JD with like just 2 minutes to go. It looked like a shot, but it was actually just
that was nice.
Yeah,
they were expecting the midi.
Exactly. And I wouldn't have been surprised. Like 6 rebounds, actually. Let me see how many. So 5 of them were defensive, 1 offense. So that kind of makes sense to me. But 4 steals on a block. I know you said that already, but oh my God.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, boss. Like
so the defense. So again, a fantastic game from him. He's scoring 16 points. We're not seeing the usual 8 to 10. His free throws also, he had 2 of 4, but he got to the line a little bit more. I'll take that from him if he's getting to the line. I'll take 50% for now.
Just attack.
Yes, and just keep, trying. He's been looking so much more confident ever since JB called him out a little bit and
Somebody said that too. Yeah.
He's just been looking confident. We don't know the reason. I know people have their own opinions of like whether he should have come in or not, if we would have won that game, if he can get back in. Whatever it was, it's made Ausar just really lock into his talent. And he's not doing it in a way that's like super forced, but it's a way that's like more, he looks comfortable out there. He looks out there. Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, obviously, especially with 5 stocks and the way that he played tonight, I think he would have been also with Duncan, pretty close to who I would pick to have the belt if we had pulled this out.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife vibes. Swiss Army knife vibes from tonight. Let me start with this, boss. Third straight game for Ausar Thompson, guys, with a backcourt steal. Third straight game with a backcourt steal is crazy.
That's
crazy. Just his ability to kind of turn games. It happened again late in this game. We almost pulled it out toward the end. We saw the Pistons really like strap up defensively and turn them over in the backcourt and just making heads up plays. But yeah, that's incredible. His work on the boards is great. The way he's attacking the glass is different now. Like he's playing with force as he's attacking, especially defensively. He's really made it a point of emphasis, maybe coach has too, to try to cut down on teams on their second chance opportunities. So you're really seeing him kind of crash the glass, get in there, especially with a guy like when JD's got 2 fouls and things like that. I like how he's really just attacking the glass and trying to attack the glass and grab boards because Boardman gets paid. He's playing like it now. He's really playing like that. But you mentioned the midi game too. I love how he's doing that. Like he had the 3 late in the game. I wasn't mad at that because I felt like he kind of built some confidence up throughout the game with the midi, right? It was the first play you mentioned with Evan Mobley. It was there for him. The 3 ball was there for him. But I like how he just kind of put the ball on the floor and got to the midi and knocked it down. And he elevates so high in his jump shot, it's hard to block that. Right. He gets so high in his jump shot. Yes. So if he just focuses on that right now, I'm good. Like just work your way out there. Like Eric always says, Eric Vincent, even make the defense account for you. Make the defense move. Make them think and play as if it's 5-on-5 instead of 4-on-5. Right. So I like how he's just finding ways, not just taking 3 just to try to keep them honest. Because if you're not hitting any of them, they're still not gonna pay any attention, just even if you are shooting them. So I just like how he's on some area of the court making the defense be honest and keep the defense honest. So I'm good with that. Absolutely. And then, you mentioned the movement too. Great movement off ball. Great movement off ball. He's becoming a better and better cutter, and not just doing it to do it. Like because you can cut and nothing's there. You can if you're cutting as the point guard is getting penetration towards the hoop and the defense is not focused on that. Like he's just I was seeing him oftentimes in the past just moving, but not really moving with intention or purpose. He's just moving around. But now I'm seeing him pick his spots better, and he's understanding when the defense breaks down how he can get behind him and get easy buckets. So even the way he's attacking his cuts and he's attacking his movement is working out really well for the team. And we always talk about Cade's chase down blocks. Yeah. But his chase, Sarah's like, don't forget about me. Don't forget about me. He's getting a ton of, he gets so high in the air. It's ridiculous. Like I feel like his head might hit the rim sometimes. It's ridiculous. So once again, Swiss Army knife, boss. He does a little bit of everything, man. He just continues to grow. As we always say, just continue to get better across the board. Continue, like whether his shooting, his free throw shooting, his ball handling, his decision making, a lot of things from last year to this year, you see him get incrementally better across the board, and that's made him a better player. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from him, man.
A couple of the turnovers, whether it was Cade, I think either Wu or Tobias had one too. Like a couple of the turnovers were to us trying to get Ausar under the basket. Like he was finding it pretty open. And there were a couple of times that I was like, "Ooh, they missed him. They missed him." He was open. But if he's, but that also just shows me that he's being a little bit more confident at his production at the rim. I think the only thing is if he keeps shooting threes, which I'm not against it, just follow your shot because he is athletic enough to get back fast. So follow your shot and just everybody else around kind of realize, oh, let's box out because Ausar is shooting a 3, because I think it's less likely that he would, you would, especially with him and Ron, I would dare them to shoot more threes if they know that they have a higher chance at an offensive rebound or to get the loose, so that as well. I just want to say hi to also Lauriers 9124, Sarah and Deuce. You guys are great. By the way, you guys got to be in your mid-20s, right? You'll make me feel old. We're both out of our 20s. We won't go into detail. But
if anybody can guess the age on their first try, at least for me, I won't put boss out there, but if anybody can guess my age on the first try, I'll shout you out. I will shout you out right here.
I won't be mad at you unless you go higher.
I don't think anybody's gonna. We'll see, but we appreciate it. It makes me feel good that at least I'm trying to look young. You know what I mean?
Lauriers is a Bucks fan, and my uncle is a big Pistons fan, so we got some rivalries.
Y'all just got Giannis back too.
We're a big fan of Ryan Rollins as well, someone who works with Coach Hart, who works with Daniss Jenkins. So hoping you guys actually, I would love to see the Bucks take off and get into the play-in, to be honest. But based on the game I watched last night, that's not going to happen. But hopefully they do get it.
That's funny. So look, guys, some of these numbers is crazy. Maybe because I oversold it. Like usually when
Well, who are you saying is 44 years old?
Bro, Devon saying 43, Clifton saying 30. Okay, 42, 36 and 31. Okay, 44. Bro, I look 44. What the world is going on? Y'all gotta be trolling, bro. Yo, my older brother Kev is here. He says, hello, I'm still here, bro. Hey, don't give it away, bro. Don't give it away. Yeah, you're not allowed to answer. 34, y'all gotta be 34. All right, Larry, all right, bro. You just trolling just to troll, bro. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. All right. I will be 40 ball this year, believe it or not. I was born in 86, so I vaguely remember the back-to-back championships the Pistons had, but I do remember. But we appreciate this kind of talk. This is what I like. 28.
Yeah. And this one too.
30.
Yeah. I'm in my
Ron is just a troller.
I'm in my Rick Hamilton years, I call it. I'm 32.
32.
Mm-hmm.
32. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we appreciate you guys, man. Clifton, you were close, bro. You were close. All right, guys. Let's keep it pushing, boss. Let's move on to Uncle T in this game. Tobias Harris, guys. Tobias Harris finished with 19 points on 6 for 12 shooting overall, 103 from 3, 6 for 7 from the free throw line, 5 boards in 31 minutes. What did you see from Uncle T in this game, boss?
All right. So first of all, Tobias Harris had 19 points in one half.
Yeah.
One half. He went scoreless in the first half, which I didn't even realize. I didn't even realize it. But in the third quarter was the Tobias Harris quarter. He would have also been, I think, on our poll for player of the game with Ausar and Duncan so far, if that was an option for the belt, which he did get the belt last time, guys.
Right.
But he did get the belt for the last game.
You remember when he got the belt last time? Whenever I hear about Tobias Harris and the belt, I think about that time when he won it. He was just like,
no. What I love about this time is that, when he did get the belt, he shouted out everybody else too. That's the whole team. He shouted out Ausar, other people. So just a great bet. But yeah, basically all my notes for him are in the third as well. He drew a couple and ones, but he drew an and one on Tyson. Then he got to the basket the next possession, and then he hit a 3. He had like 8 points straight for us. He was coaxing fouls very well. He got one on Schroeder. It was the kind of vet. He showed his vetness with the rookie or the young guys. He's not a rookie, but the young guys on Tyson. He showed gave Dennis Schroeder a taste of his own.
Savvy.
Kind of because Schroeder is obviously very good at drawing fouls as well, and Tobias just kind of used that against him. So he really came in clutch. Again, 5 rebounds tonight, and I noticed that he was just kind of the weak side help, whether it was Duren or if someone shooting a 3, like he was always at the rim for the rebounds. A little bit lower than what we've been seeing lately, but Stu is back. He has picked up in that area. I definitely see him under the rim more, trying to kind of to bring those in as our 4. So no assists and nothing stocks wise. I mean, 50% shooting was great, but he had a couple decent looks in the first half. So a couple of those went in, it would have been a little bit of a different story, but he also had no fouls, which is incredible to say against the guy who's playing, against the CAVS, who have big guys. They have Harden, they have guys that know how to get contact. So I loved what I saw from Tobias. He turned it on in the second half. He did what, is often the critique that Eric Vincent has and others have had about LeVert. It's like, when you have a vet out there, you expect them to take control and to help you as a team going forward, and take it over when you need to. And he definitely took it over when needed. And I do think that he also played, he ended with 0 fouls, but I do think he played good defense where he could. I can't specifically remember, remember good defense, but to me, that tells me that he shut down whoever he was guarding. Whoever he was guarding didn't necessarily get the ball. Because I'm also kind of a I'm on we talked about this last game. I'm on the boat of like, if you get fouls, that means that you're being physical. So maybe he definitely could have gotten a little bit more physical on defense, but I can't remember a time he was getting beat to the basket or anything. Maybe a little bit of help, but that was just more so kind of our defense collapsing as a whole when guys got behind us or had an open look at the basket. But otherwise, I think Tobias definitely showed up and showed out for us, especially in the second half, which is another reason why, you know, it would have been nice to pull this game out because we had a couple guys just really show up when we needed them to.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think Tobias did anything wrong. And I mean, he didn't score in the first half, obviously, but I don't feel like he played bad. Y'all know how I feel, man. I just, you know, the Pistons gave up a lot of second chance points early, a lot of offensive rebounds, and we saw those being turned into 3-point, you know, buckets after that. He wasn't bad in this game. I thought offensively he was good, especially in that third quarter. He just turned it on and got going. 16 in the third quarter is great. Right? That's great. We could have used some of that in the first half to get off to that good start. But it's just, for me, it's just the defense. He wasn't bad defensively, but I just feel like we need more size in the front court. Like I said earlier, like to play JD and Stu 30 seconds together is crazy to me. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's no fault of Tobias. Can't teach the size and strength that Stu has and the defense that Stu has. But I just feel like in order for us to get out to better starts, we got to have that defensive approach. And especially in games where he's not, because he didn't score in the first quarter either, first half. So it's like, what are you really getting? You know, with Stu, you're going to at least be able to set that tone early. So nothing bad Tobias did. I thought he gave us, you know, a lift with the scoring in the second half. But I just need more size. And we'll talk about it more with JD and Stu. But
I agree with that, especially, you know, obviously in the first half, and why he's been put in clutch situations is because of what he can produce. And he keeps doing that time and time again. We can rely on him. Like he's definitely reliable to help us stay in the game or help us get back in the game or help us finish the game for sure. But I do agree with you too, because when you see him scoreless in the first half, then you might think, if I was JB, I might think, okay, well, in the second, maybe I'll try Stu at the 4 and JD at the 5 to just see what that brings us. Because he didn't try that to the third. And like you said, he tried it for only 30 seconds, not a long time. So I do agree in that aspect. And again, like Tobias is also not in charge of rotations. So you can't blame him for being out there and Stu not being out there. That's more of a coaching decision. But to finish with 19 points and basically get that all in the second half and most of it in the third was huge. But I do understand, because I think, but it also, it surprised me that he was scoreless in the first half until we got to the third, and I learned that. So I don't know if he was making enough of an impact out there to where they just thought that wasn't necessary. But we do have to. I think there is something in saying that we should set a stable lineup and expect our guys to be able to take whatever challenges are out there with whoever's out there. But also, you should adjust to your competition. You should adjust to your competition at the same time. And I don't think this was, and some of it, especially the way that JB ended that game with not calling a timeout, not trying to go for a 4-point play or anything, nothing like that.
Right.
It makes me think that this was just not in their head. It wasn't necessarily a must win, but because maybe we're seeing stuff a little bit different. But yeah, I would have liked to see Stu and JD a little bit earlier. Stu came in for JD for foul trouble. I was hoping that he'd come in for Tobias, which he has done in the past. We have seen the two big lineup a few times this season where Stu comes in for Tobias and Tobias is the first to rest, and then JD goes out a few minutes later. But today, because of foul trouble, Stu came in for JD, which, like you said, if Stu was in, that foul trouble might have not really existed.
Exactly. That's where I'm at. Yeah. So you hit it. That was exactly what I was going to say, but you beat me to it. So we'll leave it there, guys. Boss, this is what I'm saying. Boss is always on the game, bro. Always dropping the bars, always dropping the knowledge. All right, man, let's keep it going, guys. Let's move on now to JD. Boss, Jalen Duren tonight, guys, finished with 24 points on 7 for 9 shooting. 10 of 14 from the free throw line. So he continues to shoot the ball well from the free throw line. 14 boards, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, 1 block in 27 minutes. Take off on JD, boss.
I mean, 7 of 9, just incredible already. So I'll give him props for that. 14 rebounds, incredible. That's kind of what I had for him for the first half, which is basically he was attacking the offensive rim. Everything he was fighting for. He was fighting for boards on both sides, but especially on offense as well. Let me see his split. He had, 6 offensive, 8 defensive. So that's incredible. He had a nice windmill dunk in the first. His block was he rejected Merrill's shot at the top. Man, Merrill was getting blocked tonight by everybody. At the top. And this is what I've been talking about with JD too, is that I know that he can. And I don't know how many blocks we've seen from him this season where he's gotten it right before it's come down. Like he usually gets it. Like, so this block tonight was kind of I would say one of his best ones, because he got up there, he understood it, and he blocked it way up high in the sky. That was a Ben Wallace block. He had a really nice hook shot in the third over Allen and Mobley.
Yep.
Both of those guys. And so you guys have heard me talk about, I've had my criticism of JD. There's nothing to criticize tonight because I think he played both ends very, very well. But he is like, stuff like that just proves that he is the best, because I've called him the best big in the East, and I firmly believe that. I think he's better than both of these guys. I think he's better than Cat.
He got Giannis out there, but if you want to call him a big, he's a power forward.
Yeah, but the different styles of play. Giannis is very impressive very much more aggressive on offense than defense, I would say. For sure. And JD is as well. But that's why I'm so impressed by JD's defense tonight, because that's what he can have both. Like, you can have both. And he did his job tonight on defense. Absolutely. So I just, again, really liked what I saw. I also got to the free throw line. 10 of 14 is nothing to scoff at, especially from a big. It's not, of course that's what, 71%. You want a little bit higher if you get into the line that much, but he's our big, and this is probably the most he's been to the free throw line, I would say. If I had to guess. He had 2 fouls in the first quarter too, and ended with 3. So that again is just
great adjustment.
And made an adjustment. So again, it sucks because I have so many positives to say about these guys in a loss, but this was Duren's better games, and he's back up to, he averaged he was player of the week this week. But he averaged 25 and 13 or 25 and 14, something like that. There you go. Almost 26 and almost 14. Yeah. And the last game kind of
and a block, boss, and a block.
And a block.
Yep.
And that last game kind of dragged it down a little bit because he didn't get as many scores and rebounds, but he's right back in that range at 24 and 14. He's right back in that range. And here I was begging for him to be a 20 and 10 guy halfway through the season. And now, since the All-Star break, he's doing it. He's doing it. And I'm very proud of him. Good job, JD. And he also, guys, those numbers, and then you look at it, he only played barely 26 and a half minutes.
27.
So if you round up, it's 27, but he had 26-31. So I'll give him 26 because, wow. So those numbers in kind of a shorter time.
It's impressive, man. It's efficient too. That's the key. It's efficient. 27 minutes. Right. Boss, the Cavs bigs are no match for him.
Yeah, exactly.
They're no match for him. And you got 2 of the better defending bigs in the league. But they can't. JD it's hard to find a guy like him who's got the combination of the strength and the athleticism that he has, because you got a guy like Jared Allen. He's a little stronger than Mobley, but he's not as athletic. And you got a guy like Mobley who's athletic, but he's not strong. JD's both. He's strong and he's athletic. So if you're quick enough to stay in front, he'll just bully you. And if you're strong enough, he'll just go right by you. They can't stop him. And Bryant, come on, don't whole different conversation. But they can't guard him. 33 and 16 last game, 24 and 14 tonight. They can't guard him. They can't. There's no way for them to guard him. So we saw tonight the first 2 possessions in the post, 2 fouls on Jared Allen. Quickly.
Yes.
Like that. Can't stop him.
Actually, it was 1 Allen, 1 Mobley, and then another on Allen. He split it.
So so 3 in the first few minutes.
He was absolutely attacking the offensive rim early. He was just nope, I'm going into it, which is what we wanted to see him last time as well.
But that's the thing. We saw the Pistons making a concerted effort to get him the ball. Normally we see him running off of screen and rolls and stuff like that. If it's there, you take it. If not, But you saw the Pistons going to him in the post, which was interesting against those guys, because as good as they are defensively, they can't stop him. And every Piston knew it. So to see them dumping the ball down to him, to see them get him the ball at the top of the key with the free throw line and saying, hey, bro, I've said before, JB has told him you get one possession per quarter to go get it on your own. Not the screen and roll, not with assistance from Cade. Go get it your own. He's earned that. So you're seeing that more now, where he's going and just getting it by himself. So I think that's a huge thing to pay attention to, because those guys, as good as they are defensively, they can't guard that man. And you mentioned the fouls. He did pick up 2 quick fouls. We talked about why. I feel like if he has the anchor behind him and Stu, that doesn't happen. You know, you don't have to worry about trying to guard 2 guys or trying to bully 2 guys or box 2 guys out because Tobias just isn't big enough, just isn't strong enough. Those fouls, I think, diminish if he's playing with Stu. So I think that's why he got in foul trouble. But I loved his energy. I thought it was great. He was very active on the glass. He continues to protect the rim much better than he did at the beginning of the season. Another block he talked about. And this is his 4th or 5th game now with recording a block.
Yeah.
So he's doing it consistently now.
Yeah.
And then offense, like the turnovers were a problem at times. Sometimes he got out of control, trying to push the break, which I don't want to see, pushing the break, and he turned it over. Bad passes. We don't want to see that. But I do feel like his interior passing is getting better. Like either from big to big or from big to cutter, like out of pick and roll off the catch. He's finding Ausar, he's finding Ron, he's making the outlet to dunk. Wherever he's processing the game much better now. So in the interior and the perimeter, when he's catching the ball, like off the catch, he can see a lot better. It seems like his processing speed is much better and his processing is much better as to know where the pass should go. So I feel like offensively, his IQ has really improved. But more importantly, defensively, he's becoming an anchor for us. At 22 years old, he's still 22, man. He's still 22 years old. Yeah. So for us to see the growth, Boss mentioned how she won at 2010 at the beginning of the season, and now he's there. Like we're seeing in real time him progressing and growing as a young big man. So I thought he played really, really good tonight. I really did.
Exactly. And I do agree. Like it's almost like in transition, I don't want him to be in control of the ball. I do want him to kind of give it away, get it away, especially if they get back. Like it's different story if they don't get back and he can take it all the way because we've seen him do that as well. But if he's coming back, if we get a steal and they're all able to transition, I would like to see him give it up a little bit faster just because he obviously wants to, you know, make the play. But he's just not quite there yet. Like he's not our main ball handler, and he shouldn't be tasked with making some of these passes. I even saw him give, I think it was either him or Ausar, so I can't say for sure, but they gave the pass up to Cade and then pointed to where Cade should go because they knew that Cade the better pass in the post. So so it's just like little things like that. The turnovers did suck. I mean, he only had 3 and it's just because he does dribble. He has gotten better. Last season, he was dribbling up to his shoulder. I remember this big.
Oh, yeah, and his armpit almost at times. It's like,
exactly. He's bringing up to his armpit when he's bringing it up, and now he's, a little bit more in control. I trust a lot of these guys. I have to give them. Sure. I mean, I give the coaching staff props for that. A lot of these guys, and it's because we want to push the ball. A lot of these guys, I trust the ball in their hands. The only one is just a little bit JD because he, again, that's not something we've asked of him yet to make the right decision. So if you bring it up, I would like to see him give it away. And then my other guy is Tobias because he just dribbles behind him. Pretty to the side. Yeah, to the side. But especially since the beginning of the season, we've been able to trust anybody bringing up the floor, which is why you see JB on the sidelines always like, go, 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 because he knows that these guys can do it. And it's an emphasis of their game. And JD has definitely improved in that area as well. And I just see like the decision-making has been, we had a lot of turnovers, even from, our main guy, Cade tonight, but like the decision-making overall has been pretty tough, I would say.
And that's why, because you talked about it, we talked about Jay, like aside from tonight, he's been good for the most part as far as not turning the ball over and protecting the basketball. And we've seen that from all these guys. The internal growth has been great across. That's why you don't pull the trigger unnecessarily on some of these guys before you know what you have. Same thing you just said about JD, when it's kind of like at times in the past, it's like, what are you doing? We said the same thing about Ausar. Same thing about Ausar Thompson last year. Often, where it's like, all right, bro, you're pushing it, but it's not anything there, and then he turns the ball over. Even with him or not, we're seeing the growth with all these guys. But Ausar for sure, JD for sure. He had a bad game with turnovers tonight, but across the board, man, with these young guys, we've seen them all get better. And I think JD is probably taking the biggest jump. You could say Cade. But I think he's taking the biggest jump from where he was last year to where he is this year, for sure. And we're just seeing it. He's 22 years old, man. He's going to get a lot better. But I thought in this game, starting with the defense, boss, I thought he was really, really good. And that's what we're going to need him to do, for sure.
Agreed. Do you want to check the poll? I'm going to take my quick break, and I'll be right back.
Let's do it. All right, guys, let's check the updated poll on the reason for the loss. And you guys are holding steady. 44% says Cavs just outplayed the Pistons. 31% says defensive lapses, 13% says slow start, and 12% said Pistons need to go bigger. I'm surprised you guys said the Cavs just outplayed the Pistons in this one because I don't like that was my fourth option just to fill it, but I didn't really feel like that was the case. I felt like the Pistons kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit too much with their rotations, with their turnovers, because the Cavs didn't have D Mitch. So I don't feel like they just outplayed us without their full roster. I just felt like some of the rotations just should have been way better. Now, I won't say way better, but they should have been better just to put us in position to be able to fight fire with fire. Tobias was great offensively. I just want to make sure that the Pistons are getting off to good starts, hitting first, right? I haven't had a chance to watch the post game, but I'm curious to see what JB has to say about why he thought the Pistons lost this game. I would imagine it has something to do with the start. I would imagine. I haven't seen it, but I would imagine that's the case. But I think the biggest thing for the Pistons is just making sure they get off to good starts. And the big way you do that, boss, you're on mute. A big way to do that is just to make sure that you have a lineup in there that matches up with whoever you're playing against. So
yeah, I heard the poll things, and mine is more what you guys voted as like B and C. Mine is more the kind of slow start and the missed defense, because I think the slow start comes from the first and second quarter. We started both of those slow, and then we weren't really great on the defense. So I understand the sizing too. The Cavs outplayed us. I think it just feels that way because, again, some of their guys like Jalen Tyson and like Schroeder and like other guys that we were able to shut down a little bit last game had a better game this game, and we shut down more of their again, even though Harden finished with 18 points, a lot of those came in free throws and kind of questionable calls in the second half. But he's put up over 50 against us. So we definitely shut him down in certain areas. So I do agree. It's kind of a combination. Tonight was definitely, again, why it's not the worst loss of the season, because there really wasn't a pinpoint. It was just kind of like in crucial moments. Yep. The Cavs did live up to it better than we did.
Let's get to some quick comments and we'll go to some reserves, guys. I want to get to this first. Kevin says, needed to play more the way they played the last minute of the game. Greater intensity on defense. Better closeouts on threes and generating more turnovers. That's what we're saying, Kev. It's like the lapses, right? You can't wait to turn it on until the end of the game or when you feel like the game might be in doubt. Like you can't play up and down to your competition. Not saying they played up and down because the Cavs are a good team. But you can't try to put it together and turn it on against a good team, because especially if they're locked in for the whole game, you're not going to be able to catch up. And that's why the Pistons were behind most of this game. That's why the Cavs controlled this game, is because of the start. Even when the Pistons got back into it, they held the lead for like a minute, right? So they never really had control of the game. They never really had control of it. They were always fighting uphill, trying to get back into it, trying to stay attached, trying to keep it under 10. It just wasn't. They didn't the start. It's just the start for me. So they have to make sure they're finishing games the way that they're starting games where they're trying to finish games, like Kevin said. And then Michael says, JB very disappointed with the defensive effort. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I would imagine that's what it was. That has to be what it is. So that's it. That's what we said to start. You got to start games better. You got to hit first. You got to establish pace. You got to establish the tone of the game on your terms, not their terms. You've seen at times the Pistons, when they don't hit first and the other team is out shooting them or whatever, they try to go and play the way other teams playing. No, you got to get back to your style of play. And you can do that by setting the tone early. Make them play how you want to play, not vice versa. Don't play to their style. Our style is different from most team style. Right. So if you hit first, you can reinforce how you want to play because you've already set the tone. So they got to do a better job of just getting off to good starts. And despite only losing by 4, that was a difference for me in this game. So we'll leave it there, guys. Boss, let's go ahead and get to some reserves. And let's start with Daniss Jenkins tonight, boss. Tonight, Daniss Jenkins, guys, finished with 5 points on 2 for 4 shooting, 1 on 1 from 3, 1 board, 1 assist, no turnovers in 11 minutes. So for me, with that stat line, I'm like, why did you only play 11 minutes?
Right.
That's just me. But I'll let you take off on Tink and let me know what you saw.
That's kind of how I feel. But, when you look at the grand scheme of things, like whose minutes would he really take? Because Caris only played like 2 more minutes over him. So I guess, 2 more minutes there. But I do agree because I wanted to see him and Cade.
Or cut down Cade's 39.
Well, true. But I wanted to see him and Cade together more, to be honest.
Okay.
Which we did see in the 4th when it mattered, but then it didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't earlier. I just felt like Daniss got off to a great start offensively. He hit a very long 3 in a low shot clock. He got to the rim. No free throws or anything tonight. He had 1 foul. That was right when he got in, and he admitted it. That no turnovers and assists. He's somebody that was mentioned again. I kind of discussed it with, or was reading a fan. I'm not telling you, don't out me on Reddit, guys, but you'll see my comments in there. But they in the thread about, like, you know, cutting down the lineup to almost more like 8 or 9 instead of 10, because tonight was a 10-man rotation. But that was like last year was more like a 9-man rotation because Fantecchio didn't play at all, and we didn't really bring in anybody else. But that's what kind of worries me, is like, I don't want Jenkins to be out of the cut from like a playoff rotation, because I do think that he obviously brings great things. We couldn't have won the last game against the Cavs without him. I just thought that he played great offensively, and he should have gotten a little bit more time out there with some of these guys. Like you said, either less with Cade or maybe a little bit more Cade and less with Dunk, who, you know, obviously I said that Dunk had a great game, but if he played 30 instead of 34, I don't think that would have taken away from his great game at all. So if Jenkins was in there for a little bit more, especially if he was sinking his shots, I just don't really understand why it was so short. But my only note for him was really him hitting that long 3 when it was a low shot clock. It just showed me, because that was in the first quarter. And so that's why I was like, he could have really popped off for us. We've been saying if we're lacking scoring, you know, and it seemed like Dunk, even though he was 2 from 5, was hitting his first few threes. Like, when you see that from a player after a week of struggling on offense, you would assume that they would get to play more if their shot is falling. So I'm a little confused on that. But for the 11 minutes that he was in, he did nothing to be detrimental to the team. He played good defense. He hit necessary shots. He made the right decisions. He had a good 11 minutes is what I can say for him.
Yeah, like that's where I'm at. I would have loved to see him play more. Let's get some comments. Clara says Tink needed more time. He had a solid game. Dink is Tink Clara with a T.
But I like Tink.
I think it came from Stink. Like, I think somebody thought it was, I think a relative called him Stink, and he thought it was Tink, and it just kind of stuck. But as a kid, but he definitely needed more time, Clara. Kevin says Daniss could have gotten Caris minutes tonight. Not gonna lie, Caris felt pretty useless tonight. Richard says, I would like to see Jenkins with Cade off ball, as bad as Cade was. So these are all reasons, guys, that I would have played him more. It's even if he's not looking to score, he can just be a threat out there as another playmaker, right? So for us to only have 2 point guards and for Cade to be getting doubled as much as he is, I don't see how he's not playing more. It was times when they had Caris LeVert bring the ball up court. I'm like, where is Daniss Jenkins at? Like, what is going on? What is going on? It just didn't make sense to me. So he had a nice finish at the rim too. He had the 3 ball, but also at the finish at the rim. So he did some good things, man. And defensively, he's always going to be a dog. So it's hard to really say a lot about him because he only played 10 minutes, but I think he couldn't really have done much more in those 10 minutes. I feel like he's earned the right to be the backup point guard. We got him signed for the rest of the season, possibly next season, so that shouldn't be an issue. Why aren't you playing this guy? So that's my only thing. It's not like the Cavs have a huge backcourt to where you can't play him. Like, you can play against any there's no size discrepancy with anything like that. So I don't know why he didn't play more, boss. Like, especially when Caris didn't play a ton. We'll get to him. But 13 minutes is, for me, there's no way Caris should be out playing Daniss Jenkins because we only have 2 point guards. We only have 2 point guards. We have a plethora of shooting guards. So for Caris to be getting that many minutes, more minutes than your 1 or 2 point guards, to me, I don't understand that.
That's like how it feels for me, because I would say that Caris, again, he only played 13 minutes, which I think, you know, everybody's okay with.
It's not 18.
Scheme of things, right? But he did play, like, I would say half of those with Jenkins and half of those with Cade. But it's like, but he also was a main ball handler at a couple times. And for me, if you're going to play off ball, if you want Cade to play off ball, then it needs to be Cade and Jenkins. If you want Cade, even I would even not have that much of an issue if it was Caris being a ball handler and him and Jenkins on the floor together and they were splitting it. I wouldn't be too mad about that. Because that's kind of what happened tonight. They kind of split. I know you don't like it, because I don't either, because I know LeVert has been proven to be better off of it. So I just don't really see that as if you because it just felt like it felt like Caris was put in to get Cade off ball. But to me, that's when Jenkins should be put in.
Yeah, because to me, and let me know what you think. To me, Caris isn't drawing enough attention off of like.
Right.
You think about Daniss, Jenkins, and whoever you put in the game as a secondary playmaker at times, so Cade isn't getting double. Like, I don't feel like when Caris is out there, they're paying him any attention as another threat. It's almost like, okay, we know he's out there, double Cade. With Jenkins out there, I see a little bit more attention in them playing straight up because of his ability to be able to get to the rim, knock down shots, things like that. So I agree with you for sure.
And here's something I was just thinking of today too. Is just like LeVert is someone that I've really liked throughout his career. I've wanted him to thrive with the Pistons the way that I've seen him thrive with other teams, the way that I've seen him play. I think that the call for Jenkins over him and even the call for Sass over him is because LeVert, it doesn't go, this is not something on his talent. This is not as him as a player. Something about him is just not fitting our team. It's not fitting our scheme, where even you can even argue that Sass, was kind of, we drafted him. He's been brought up in this scheme. Jenkins was on the cruise and then we signed him. He's brought up in this scheme. LeVert, I think, can be very valuable to certain teams. And this is why I liked him before he came here. I was a fan. I still am a fan of Caris LeVert. I'm a fan of Caris LeVert, but I just don't know if it's meshing well with our team. And that's not against anybody, but some styles of play just don't work well with certain teams. And so I do think obviously he's consistent on defense. He's consistent there, but whatever it is, it's just not meshing well on the other side of things. But I'm also not just going to rip into Caris tonight because he basically like someone said, like he didn't do anything really tonight. And so he didn't do anything negative to me either. I didn't feel like he did make he had a clutch rebound and follow through. Didn't make any of his threes tonight, which always sucks because like when his threes are falling, it's a little bit better. No turnovers, only 2 fouls. So like, but just kind of like if I had to pick, who to play for 14 minutes or 13 minutes and who to play for 11, I would definitely switch Jenkins and LeVert. Yeah. That's just kind of where I feel. And you know what, guys, I know that, it may be like, he's JB's guy. Cause I think JB is like me and he's like Deuce and he's like Kevin and he's like other guys that are LeVert fans and he just wants to see LeVert succeed, but it's just not working in this environment. It's just not working so far here. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. I don't personally see him going beyond this off season with us. I don't either. But again, tonight, I don't think he was a negative or a positive, but again, like, just like we said about Tobias earlier, it's not his fault it's not his fault if he's not rotated in or out for certain people. That's the same exact with LeVert. Like he's not out there, he's definitely not out there, I don't know, playing nana boo boo with the guys that he's in with he's just out there trying to do his job the best he can. I truly believe that LeVert is trying the best he can for this.
No, team. He's trying. It's not about that. It's really what you said though. It's just not fitting. It's trying to fit a circle, a circle into a square peg. It's just not fitting because I've said it before. He's out of all the guys on this team, I feel like when he comes into the game or when he's in the game, I don't know what he's gonna do. Like it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like there's a role that's defined for him. Like when Daniss comes to the game, you know what he's gonna do. When Tobias is in the game, when Stewart comes to, like, you know what to expect from these guys when you see them enter the game. When Caris enters the game, I don't really know because he's not really doing anything consistently. Defensively, yes, but offensively, I'm not really seeing any consistency with how he's producing or with how he's being utilized. One game it's off ball. Another game it's on ball. It just doesn't seem like he has a role consistently on this team to where you know what to expect from him.
I'm so glad you said that because consistency in a way that he's just even being asked to play.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
So it's not even, I think he's truly doing something for this team and he's definitely trying his best because I think even our team knows. I think if Cade had an issue with LeVert on the court, he wouldn't be playing as much. So even our team knows what he's capable of and what he can do. And if you guys have followed LeVert at all, just like I thought that he was a great fit for the Cavs and not a great fit for the Hawks. Now it just sucks that he doesn't seem to be a great fit for us. It seems like it's a certain niche that needs a Caris LeVert, but it doesn't seem to be us right now. And I do think that Jenkins should be the first one in over Caris going forward. I really do. Whether it's playing with Cade or playing for Cade, because LeVert has been both. LeVert has been the first one subbed in, and he's either subbed in for Cade or he's subbed in for Duncan and playing off. And I actually wouldn't even mind. I'm curious. We haven't even seen a lot of Caris LeVert and Duncan together because those are guys that played in Michigan. We have not even seen that. And with him even being a main ball handler, that might even change things a little bit. But I had to laugh a little bit because my mom's favorite player is Jenkins. And I think we threw up a comment saying he's risk reward. My mom texted me, DJ is not risk reward with an angry face emoji. It just made me laugh because
that's a favorite player.
It's hard. I mean, there's kind of really no critiques for Daniss Jenkins right now because I just think even since he's been signed, it's been inconsistent minutes.
Yeah.
So,
he just needs more. He just needs more minutes. That's what it is for me. And like we talked about, it was a bad game because normally with Caris, and it's just one game, but normally when the offense isn't there, he can hang his hat on defense. Defensively, he struggled too, boss. Like he gave up 2 and 1s. One of them was a 4-point play. Like, and I gotta cite that because I cite every single 4-point play that gets given up every game. It was because he put his hand up. I didn't see him really foul him, to be honest.
That's my only note for him. BS 3-point play.
You're right. That wasn't a foul.
I've seen other guys, and even if it was technically, I've seen anyone. I've seen worse. I've seen worse get no call. So that was just weird.
Yeah.
Yes, sure. But I do agree too. I do agree with that.
Yeah. So I saw we kind of like bled into Caris as we're talking about Daniss Jenkins. So I'm just gonna go over his numbers, and then if you have anything else you want to say, I didn't either, low key. So I'll just read off his numbers to you guys, and if you have nothing else to add, we'll just keep it pushing so we don't beat a dead horse here. But Caris, guys, finished with 2 points on 1 of 4 shooting, 0 of 3 from 3, 2 boards and 1 assist and no turnovers in 13 minutes. So you have anything else to add? That's just my biggest thing. I saw somebody say that Sean said LeVert has been better than Jenkins. We just judged them on. I totally disagree with this, Sean. You know I love you, but I disagree with this here because I feel like Daniss Jenkins has helped us win games. He's helped us send games to overtime. He's helped us win games in the clutch. That 13-game winning streak we had was a big part of it was Daniss Jenkins filling in for Cade Cunningham when Cade Cunningham wasn't available. Starting some games, right? Starting some games, finishing some games, highlight plays, defense. Like he's just been. That's why so many people wanted us to sign him. Aside from the money, Daniss Jenkins has been better than Caris LeVert all year. Yeah. And I don't think it's close.
And
that's just my take.
And I want to say that Deuce and I both had high expectations for Caris LeVert. Neither one of us were against the offseason signing. So I would say that our expectations were pretty equal for both. We both saw the what both of them bring in just different ways. Like that's probably my hottest, my biggest take is I remember when we signed him, there were a lot of people that were like, why would we pay him? What's all this? And I know a lot of people in the community, myself included, were like, no, like Caris is actually I'm excited for this. He worked with JB already. I was a fan of Caris before he came here.
I thought he was going to be a bigger acquisition, more important than Duncan. I said, I'm on record saying that. And
that's why it just feels like it's just not a good fit because he's not necessarily doing terrible things. It's just the way that he plays is a little bit off to our pace, a little bit off to our ball. It's just a little bit off for some reason. Because you will never hear me say that I'm like pissed at Caris. Like I will still love Caris LeVert. I just have.
You love the whole team. Yeah.
And so I know, but even before he came here, and so I get a little bit. It's more just so like frustration and a little bit of disappointment in the terms of like I talked to him so high up because I know what he's capable of, and he hasn't been able to produce that here. Mm-hmm. And then it just seems like he went on a really good run for us where he was like, okay, Caris is getting into his playoff form. Him and JB both emphasized playoffs. They both emphasized like this is where he's really gonna like pull in these last few games. even though we've been off as a team tonight, we weren't that off as a team, but like it's like going back to his form before. We're like, oh, like, but Caris, but like here for me, my things about Caris, like I know he can. Caris is a good basketball player, guys, through and through. He's a good basketball player. I just don't think it's almost like the way that we're playing him is at the point guard position. And I just see him thriving elsewhere at that position. If we were just utilizing him as a shooting guard, I think it would be a little bit different. But we're we're confused, and probably he's confused about his role on this team. He hasn't, like you said, he hasn't been consistent. It feels like he hasn't had a verified role because we've seen him be the point guard and we've seen him be a shooting guard, and we don't know where he is with that.
I think he'd be better on a team that had more offensive firepower coming off the bench.
I agree.
And he wouldn't be asked to handle the ball, be the lead guard, and then be off guard. I think he would fit better on a team that has more offense.
I'm actually curious to see how he would be. And I'm not saying, again, guys, I don't necessarily see him re-signing with us, especially with some of the guys we've gotten. And
well, he's on the contract, I think, for the next couple years, right? Okay. For like at least until next year. Yeah.
But I thought that didn't they make it pretty flexible with him and Dunk?
Duncan's is. He's only Duncan's for 3 years. He's only guaranteed after this year. I think Caris is guaranteed after this year, though. So we have to trade him if we're going to get rid of him. We're going to move him.
Okay. But it would be curious to see maybe if we mess with our starting lineup too. I'd be curious to see how he does with the Tobias. I'd be curious to see off the bench. I'd be curious to see some of these.
Right.
If because we haven't even, like if Stu's starting and we went, and Tobias off the bench, then that gives me a little bit more calmness and in like what's going on, because those two, we don't see a lot of him and Duncan together, which is something that I think we could see more of overall, because they played together in Michigan, even though that was years ago. Like, you develop a rhythm with the guy. So I'm curious to see. I do think that I won't lie, like I do think that he is someone that we would package in a trade this offseason. If we keep him next year, there's just going to have to be some adjustments, or really figure out what I just feel like it's taking us a season so far, and we still haven't figured out what his perfect role is.
You're about 60 games in, so that's the concerning part for me. Is like where do we go from here as far as with him for the remainder of this season? Because we're going to need his play off the bench to be better than it has been for most of the year. It hasn't been great up to this point. So I'm not saying it's his fault, because his role does not seem defined to me at all. And that can be hard for anybody, right? As far as not knowing what to do from game to game. You can't really get into a rhythm. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll leave it there on him, though, guys, unless you got anything else, boss. Anything else on him?
No, just keep chugging along, Caris. I'm hoping for a really just kind of show out game from him. But it's kind of seeming like we're just not going to get that. But, he did only play 13 minutes. So I do have to emphasize that, because it's been not big, but like, it's been controversial of like why he's getting the most minutes off the bench. And I think his minutes were dwindled a little bit more tonight. So
Mauser, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, man. If Caris would just play solely off ball at the 2 or 3 off the bench, he'd be perfectly fine on this team. Give all PG responsibility to the point guard and Daniss Jenkins. I've been tooting that horn all year long, man. And I agree with you, bro. I totally agree with you. So we'll see if that role gets defined or becomes defined at some point in the season.
Yeah.
All right, boss. Let's keep it pushing, guys. Let's move on now, boss. Let's go to Javonte Green in this game. Okay. Javonte Savage, can you woo in this game? Guys, Javonte Green finished with 13 points on 5 for 7 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3, 1 board, and a steal, and only 13 minutes as well. Boss, 13 minutes impact. Yeah. What'd you see? But a defined role, right? What'd you see from Javonte? Go ahead. Yeah,
it seems to be the common thing. Again, I think we are just kind of testing the waters of how much we can shorten this lineup and get the job done, because that's just kind of how playoff basketball is for all teams. So we had like Stu and Holland get the most minutes, and then LeVert and Green and Jenkins get less than 14, almost less than 13. But woo, okay. Some big threes. He hit a 3 in the second to cut the CAVS. The CAVS had like a mini run at the start of the second. Again, like we weren't starting well, and he hit a three to end that, and then another deep three, a deep one to hit again.
Showing off his range for sure.
Yeah. And then he was his third three was to start the fourth quarter scoring. So he did great in those aspects. He also was pretty disruptive. He had a couple of fouls tonight. He had 3 fouls. Wow, I think that's the most he's ever had. But he was tasked with when Allen and Mobley were in together before Allen went out. Wu was on Mobley, and he had a couple of great defensive stops against him, and other times he had to foul to get to kill his momentum. So I mean, you can even just look at it like Wu had -2. If you care about plus minus, which is of the negatives, it's the lowest negative. So that just shows me that he was out there and trying to get things done. 5 of 7 is huge as well. No turnovers. He only had 1 rebound, which is crazy because he's in there fighting for those. But he definitely had a little bit of a bounce back game from the last few games he's had. This is also a little bit more minutes that he's had the past few games. I would like to see more Wu. I would like to last week we didn't see enough Wu, and I think it was because of his shot wasn't falling either. Like no one's shot was falling last week. Like his shot wasn't falling, and so when you're a bench guy and your shot's not falling, then you're gonna get you're not going to have as many minutes as you would hope, but his shot was falling tonight. He played good D. Can't complain. I'm just excited that he got back, kind of just got back into his flow of being confident in his shot. Like after he hit that deep 3, I was like, yeah, he feels good out there.
Yeah. That was 3 or 4 feet behind the line.
Yeah. And that's not a shot he would take if he didn't know that he could make it.
He hasn't really done that. He's really toed the line this year as far as with the three balls.
And he's a corner 3 guy when they have no other options kind of thing, or a late shot clock or something like that. But he is not, he's not a top of the key early shot clock shooter, which is where that deep 3 came from. So that's when I knew that he was kind of feeling it. So would have appreciated a few more minutes from him. This is kind of just the battle. It was only a 10-man lineup again tonight, but it's kind of the battle we go through kind of every night of just a few more minutes. We did play our starters a lot. I definitely want to keep our starters closer to 28 to 30 minute range. So hopefully but tonight's show-out shouldn't definitely not force them to cut any minutes from him going forward.
No, not at all.
Against the Spurs,
Absolutely
especially, I would love to see him get closer to 15 to 18 is where I would honestly like to see Javonte Green.
Chris said, Mr. K was off, but I went 13 points in 13 minutes, coach. 13 minutes, just like the last one we talked about, right? 13 minutes and very productive, though. But he has a defined role. See, that's the difference. He has a defined role, and we always say, boss, he brings the same approach regardless of if he's shooting the ball well or not. He plays the same way every game. The 3 or 4 things that he's asked to do, he knows what those things are, and he does them every single game. Defined role. That's the difference for me between a guy like him and Caris LeVert. He has a defined role, and he's a star in that role. Michael says Javonte only issue is he couldn't really guard Mobley, and they had him doing that. I don't want to see that because, guys, he's 6'5".
That's why he
shouldn't be able to guard Evan Mobley, who's 7 feet. That's why I want to see more Stu. That's exactly why I want to see more Stu, a guy who can guard him, right? So the rotations are kind of weird for me tonight, but he continues to show off his athleticism too. You see that dunk?
Yes.
That dunk he had? Insane. His vert, even at 32-33, he still got some crazy bounds. But he plays the same way, boss. 5 for 7 tonight. That's why we were saying last week when he wasn't shooting the ball well, we're I don't have any fear for him not being in rotation. I don't have any fear of him falling out of the rotation at all. Just because the shot's not falling? Absolutely not. Because he does so many other things well, and he does it consistently every game, and he doesn't hurt you. He doesn't take bad shots. He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't miss assignments. He just brings it. He doesn't more times than not when he's on the court, it's a pretty good possession because he's encouraging ball movement. He's encouraging play movement. Devin says, I always feel comfortable when he's in the game. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Because he just knows how to win. He plays winning basketball. The shot's not always going to be there, but everything else is. The defense is. The 50-50 balls are. He just finds ways to be impactful. But once again, it's because he has a defined role. That's the difference for me. That's the biggest difference.
That's what's crazy too, is we've talked about how much of a spark our benches. And obviously Javonte brings that with Ron and everybody, but just like you said earlier, like him being expected to guard Mobley, like,
come on, man, he's 6'5", bro.
If you're doing two big rotations, then you know who would really spark some energy and not let the ball go away and grab those rebounds is a Wu and Paul Reed lineup. I love Wu and Paul Reed on the court together.
Paul Reed again was crazy.
I really love it. So worst case, you bring in, you have the two bigs and you rest them at the same time, but you still got B-ball Paul in the paint to help out. And then Wu's not tasked with that, and Wu can get, his stuff done. And it sucks that we didn't see B-ball tonight, because even Johnny Kane and Greg Kelser and Natalie Kerwin were talking about in the pregame how B-ball Paul we could still see him tonight because of the way he's been utilized lately and because of the Cavs two big lineup as well. So it's just because it's so funny, because when we lose, we often criticize the lineups, but we've had plenty of praise for JB's lineups as well. So there's just some things that I'm a little bit like, why? But yeah, I think definitely tonight the three big lineup with the Paul Reed rotation would have been helpful. And I've told you, like, you know me, I want the 12-man lineup, the 11-man at least. The 11 would bring in B-ball. The 12
I would go 11, because I'm not mad at 11, boss, because defined roles is what it's all about. Well, that's the shorter your rotation is in the playoffs, the more you can define, I think, those roles instead of having more and more guys trying to do different things.
I think 11 is it. I think 11 is it. I think that, it's pretty clear that Herter was brought in for contract late now. I think it's clear.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, I wish I could say opposite, but I think it's pretty freaking clear, because
I think you're right. I think you're right, because
playoffs, we would have had more minutes by now.
Right, right, exactly. It's kind of hard to kind of integrate him at this point in the season when you're trying to really have your offense and defense humming on both sides. So yeah, I think that's clear now.
And we integrated Sass a little bit, and I do think we will see more of Sass. I think we'll see more of Sass before we see more of like Herter.
Yeah, for sure. He's familiar.
I think Sass will be the one in. So 12-man rotation in worst case is B-ball and Sass, but 11-man rotation would include B-ball, and I just think it could just really help. And it would also just, if we had B-ball in there and we were rotating two bigs at once, and or three bigs at the same time, and whether there were two bigs on the floor at the whole time or B-ball had to hold it down for 4 or 5 minutes, I think that also increases our other bench guys around him. Because they all, I mean, that's the team that we've seen beat teams as a starting lineup. That's the team that we've seen get us back in the game. So I would love more B-ball with Wu and stuff like that in moments like that where you have to, because Wu was guarding Mobley more so when Allen went out. But like, imagine if Wu could just stay at the 4 and we had B-ball in there with Stu, and B-ball could be either one. Both Stu and B-ball Paul can shoot threes. So I'm comfortable with either one on the perimeter. I'm also comfortable with either one at the rim. They both have their strengths. Stu's a little bit more blocking, but B-ball Paul can bother a shot and pull that rebound down. Like, they both have their strengths under the rim as well. So
how do you feel about, this is random, how do you feel about Dana in second unit? Daniss, Ron, Wu, Stu, B-ball Paul. If you're not going to start Stu.
It's disgusting. I mean, it's scary. To me, it shows me offense, because all of those guys can hit from the 3. I'll give it to Ron tonight. All those guys can be perimeter threats where you don't leave them wide open. And all those guys are insane on defense. All those guys can run in for a rebound. I mean, but basically what you just did is replace our bench guy. Basically what you just did is replace our bench lineup with Reed with LeVert. Basically what you did.
You caught me.
It's fair.
I wasn't gonna put it like that, but that was, it's just, but what all those guys are gonna do when they come into the game. All of them. That's
like we just talked about, like, exactly. LeVert, like, I'll reiterate it again and again. a fan of him. I'm a fan of his game, but his game has not translated to this team well. The game that I know that LeVert can do has not translated over this season.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
I'm just saying
about his talent. So, but I 100% completely agree, because then you can bring in Cade with that lineup. You can bring in Cade with Jenkins in that lineup. You can bring in Tobias, the rest of a big guy for a little bit. You can really just mess with that lineup a little bit. So,
yep. That's the optionality we're always talking about. So yeah, right, Dev? That's tough, right? So I'm just, I don't know, man. I can only wish. I can wish, right? Let's keep it moving, guys. But yeah, good game from Javonte for sure. I like that for sure. Let's move, boss. Let's go to Ron. Ron Holland in this game, guys. Tonight, Ron finished with 8 points on 3 for 4 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3, 5 boards, 1 assist, 1 turnover in 19 minutes. So I thought that was good minutes from Ron. What'd you see from Ron tonight, boss?
Well, first of all, I got to shout him out because Greg Kelser mentioned this stat, and I'm pretty sure we're all aware of it. But in one season, he's increased his scoring percentage by 10 points. He averaged 3 points a game last year.
Wow, that's it?
Yeah.
Well, you said 3 points?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. It feels like he had at least 7 or 8.
He averaged 3 points for us last year. He was benched, though, the majority of the end of the season. Don't you remember?
In the playoffs, he didn't play much after the second or third game.
And this year, he's averaging over 13. So I had to shout him out for that.
Good on him.
I think if it was a little bit different, he would also be in the running for most improved player. But yeah, I just had to shout him out for that because that was crazy.
For sure.
So in the beginning, guys, and I've said this the last 3 podcasts about Ron's threes, is that he can't be taking the corner ones because he shoots long.
Yeah.
And his first shot of the game was a 3, and he banked it.
Banked it in. So that kind of supports what you're saying.
Right now he needs the glass. But I think his other 3 at the end of the first is from the corner.
It was. It was, I believe. Yeah, it was. Yep. Yep.
I think he swished that. So I think sometimes I think he just needs the glass to get in the zone, which is fine. I love a bank shot. Greg Kelser being like, does that count? Yes, Greg. It counts.
He's being facetious. Yeah, he's being funny. Yeah.
I know.
Bank is open. It's Tuesday. Bank is open.
It counts. And then in the third, he had a huge offensive rim presence, whether it was rebounds, whether he was finishing the shot. He had a couple assists under there. Like, it was just fantastic. Just yes. Just Ron Holland, hustle man. Just another Ron game. I truly have no notes. Let me see real quick.
I don't either. I don't have any notes.
He had 1 turnover, but I don't remember it, so it probably wasn't. It was probably under
his turnover was the only thing. He had a bad turnover, a lazy pass in the first quarter, I think, or second quarter. That was it though. That was a bad pass, miscommunication, I think. Yeah.
That was the one that Greg Kelser then said, like, they're passing lazily.
Yeah.
The thing for Ron Holland is he had 0 fouls. So that also tells me, like, and so he played 19 minutes, which was just good minutes for Ron Holland. So that tells me that he played good defense, but it also tells me that he could have been a little bit more physical with some of these guys. I mean, the way that this is what was so interesting to me, because I've never seen Ausar or Ron guard a point guard or a shooting guard on another team by grabbing their hands and grabbing their arms off ball without them getting called for a foul. And tonight we just saw that constantly from Tyson and Ellis. And so that's just like where I'm like, okay, well, if they're not calling it on Ellis or Tyson, that's where I'm like, okay, Ausar, okay, Ron, if you have 0 fouls, go hold on to your guy until he gets the ball, because they're not calling it. Agreed. So that's the only thing I'm just like, be, and I know JB would be in that boat too, because he's very much like call it equal. And so that's the only thing I'd be like, okay, be more aware of that, because just defend harder. And maybe he was, maybe I just wasn't, looking at him at the moment, whoever he was on, because he was definitely guarding some more guards. I didn't see him on Harden that much. I didn't see him on the point as much, but a Ron Holland.
A Ron game. What we've come to expect, because he has a defined role. I know I keep saying it, but we don't have too many games where we're upset with Javonte Green. We're upset with Ron Holland. We're upset with Isaiah Stewart. Why? Because they have defined roles, and they play to that despite regardless if they're knocking down shots or not, more times than not, because of who we are, which is a defensive team, they play to their role. And they start in that role. It's not one game the next. You see Ron shooting 7 or 8 threes. You see Javonte trying to break his guy down and get to the hoop. No, you see them play the same way every game. That's the difference. Regardless of the output, the approach is the same every game. With Ron, it's the same. With Stu, it's the same. With Tink, has been struggling a little bit, but even with him overall, it's been the same. Javonte Green, it's the same. So with a guy, and I hate to keep going back to it, but that's the only difference for me right now with Caris LeVert. He doesn't seem to have a defined role. And that's why it's frustrating from game to game to watch all these peaks and valleys, because there's no consistency. And that's not his fault per se. Maybe it's more so putting him in position, but it just doesn't seem to fit the way it fits with a Ron, a Javonte, a Daniss, a Stu, because they know exactly what they're supposed to do, and they do it every game. So I want to get to some quick comments, boss, and we'll keep it pushing. First of all, Chris, happy birthday to your oldest grandson. Just turned 5 today. Happy birthday to happy birthday. So I want to get that out the way, Chris. Happy birthday to him.
Your lack of watching is what made us lose. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you can't blame it on him.
No. But happy birthday.
I had to celebrate my grandson's birthday today. I ain't mad, bro.
No.
Let's get to a few more. Drake says, could you guys name a better defensive forward in the league if Stu started there? If he did, Paul Reed takes the best backup center in the league role, hands down. Him and Naz Reid would be the only debate. A guy who I wanted on this team last offseason, as you guys know. But I agree, Drake, for sure. Lily says, what I don't get is that we start and end games with our offensive players when our identity is defense. And that's where I've been all year, Lily. At the end of games, I'm not trying to outscore teams. I'm trying to get stops. I'm trying to hold you to less points than you can hold me. And defense wins the day more times than not, especially when you have a team that is built for it. So, Lily, I agree. A few more comments and we'll keep going. Drake says, and that's offense, defense kind of thing. Reed does everything. I agree. Mouser says, Lily J, that's why Stu needs to start. Our bench has way more defense. Switching Tobias and Stu would even it out. Exactly. Same with the offensive. Yes. And you let Tobias go to work on second stringers. It just makes all the sense in the world. We lost Boss. I don't know what happened to Boss, but we lost it for a second. So, guys, let's keep it pushing. Y'all get what I'm saying though. As far as with, I'm not trying to get on any one player or anything like that. It's just I know I'm seeing what we could be, and it's just frustrating to not get a chance to see it. So I don't know what's going on with our stuff tonight. Like I lost my audio, you lost your video.
For no reason.
As long as the stream don't end, we'll be all right.
Oh man. But yeah, I have to agree too, because I'm curious because is it Tobias's contract end this year, or does he have one more year?
This year. 2 year, 52 million. Yeah.
Okay. Because that's what I'm curious about is I could see Tobias staying with us and accepting a bench role.
Yeah, I could too.
I don't think that JB is necessary because people have said that about LeVert. They've said that about certain people, like he's playing people that they're paying the most, or he's giving Tobias a start because, again, this is where, like, I think it maybe a little bit, but I do think that if it's because, again, guys, of course we want our team to go as far as they possibly can this year because these guys deserve it. They've been playing phenomenally. But next year is kind of, I think, going to be even better because we just have learned this is an evaluation year. And so while we're ahead of things, we're still evaluating. This isn't our last hope or our last chance or anything like certain other teams in the league. So I can see him coming off the bench next year for us. But I also can see him. I can also see him, because he has been the guy before Stu's suspension. The first guy subbed in was Stu for Tobias. And we've seen Stu and JD for a few minutes. We haven't seen it consistently enough. And that's
maybe they're saving that, boss. I don't know. Maybe they're saving that.
Like, and that's like why, the CAVS have made some comments, which we'll get into. They've made comments about them being a class ahead of us. People have made comments about them not even playing their best players against us because they don't want us to know their game plan for the playoffs. Well, we can play those games too. Yeah. We can play those games too.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing Tobias next year come back and stay with the team in that role.
Oh, I'd love that.
Just being a mentor, take a, $7 or $8 million a year type deal, something like that, just to stay with the team, something like that. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Our vets are basically Tobias, Wu, LeVert, and Dunk.
Yep.
out of those
I'm not mad at
4,
that.
even though Dunk has been freaking insane, if I had to choose 2 out of the 4, I would pick Wu and Tobias, to be honest.
I agree. Quick comment. We'll keep going, boss. I'm seeing some comments about how would that work with Stu in the starting lineup. All these different things. Bro, like, why would take our top 3 scorer out and put him on the bench? Because of the fit, bro. Like, you're too focused on offense. How many games this year have we shot worse than our opponent and won?
And we've
more times than not, we've shot worse than our opponent and won.
We've talked about
Let me finish. Over the course of a game, when you have a Stu along with the JD, you're not gonna get a ton of offensive creation, but what you're gonna get is domination on the glass. You're down. That tires teams out. We see what JD does by himself against these two, against the Cavaliers, for example. Him and Stu together, that's demoralizing. That's taxing on your body. Teams don't want to put up with that the entire game. So having a defensive player of the year candidate in the starting lineup, along with the all-star big who could rebound his tail off, is going to make it very hard for teams to be able to keep up with our physicality. That's how you wear teams down. I understand the game has changed offense, but guys, we're best team in the league by far. Well, at least in the East by far, because of our defense, not because of our offense. If you add a bunch of shooters to this team, you compromise who you are. So I'm not mad at adding a little bit of shooting, but the defense is always going to be the identity. So that's how you do it, bro. You start with defense. We talked about hitting first, starting games, punching first. You do that with Stu and JD. You just overpower other teams. JD's overpowering 2 bigs over there by himself. You put Stu with them, what does it look like then, bro? You got to focus on the defense. You got to start there.
And yeah, I didn't mean to try to interrupt you earlier, but I just brought up like the whole point is like we've talked about how our bench is more defense focused as well. And so if it would just balance out, in my opinion, it would just balance out if we brought Stu for Tobias, it would just balance off offense and defense. And then Tobias going in with Ron and Jenkins and Green and B-Ball.
Go to work.
I'll throw him in there because he's still on our team and he's still in our rotation. It would just bring a little bit more offense to defense. So it would just even out because definitely you guys, like, there's kind of no argument. Our starting lineup is offense and our second half is defense. Of course, we have Ausar and Cade and Duren and guys. We have guys in our lineups that are defensive minded. Yep. But our entire bench is basically defense. You can't really point to anybody that's like, oh, that guy's a consistent scorer for us on the bench.
Right.
No, that guy's a consistent 2-way player for us on the bench. Is kind of
exactly.
weird.
Let Tobias go to work in that second unit.
I think he
can be the hub of the offense in that second unit.
We saw what he did in the third quarter today. Like if he comes off the bench firing, what are you gonna do?
Right.
What are you gonna
do?
Because and especially the way Ausar has been playing lately, if Ausar moves to the 4 or something for us too. I mean, Stu would be the 4. Like if he's more the 3. But like the way Ausar has been contributing on offense lately too. Like imagine Ausar going out and then you have Tobias. Like those are 2 different types of scorers, but they obviously can both showcase and score in different ways. So for sure.
Chris says, who will be able to stop Harris in the second squad? Nobody. Let Tobias go to work on second stringers. He's already going to work on first stringers in the starting lineup. Let him come in. Let there be no drop off in this. How many times have we seen guys, our defense, get us back into the game? Think about it. I just saw a comment that said we can't play from behind. We can't play from behind every game, right? And we would be doing that if we, have a defensive minded group. But yet the defensive minded group is getting us back into the game because our starters got us behind. So you're not going to get behind just because you have a defensive-minded unit. The defensive-minded second unit has been the unit to get us back into the game. When the offensive unit, the starting group, has had us falling behind because they haven't started the game right. So you can't assume just because we have a defensive-minded unit, we're going to fall behind. That hasn't been the case all year. The bench unit has been the unit to really propel us and get us back into the game. That second quarter, the end of the third quarter, that's been the unit. So defensive units don't equate to falling behind. What they equate to when you do it right is getting an early lead and hitting first and then allowing your offense in the second unit to be able to carry you through. That's what it's about, especially when you are a defensive-minded team. If we were the Warriors and we're trying to have all these defensive guys start, that don't make sense, right? But we're a defensive team. So start your game and end the game with your defensive dogs and have your offense kind of carry you through in between those periods. Tonight, what happened? What happened tonight? We were down to start this game. Why? The defense wasn't there. It wasn't because we just couldn't hit a shot. The defense wasn't there. JB called timeout because the defense wasn't there.
Yep.
That's where it starts. So I'm just saying, y'all, I think too many are focused on offense.
Well, that's like
when it comes to this team, too many are focused on offense. It's got to start with defense.
And then JB doesn't call timeouts when our shots aren't falling. JB calls timeouts when our shots aren't falling and we're letting the other team get to the basket.
Exactly.
That's when he calls
100%.
it. And I just also
why do you pull Ausar Thompson?
Real quick.
Why do you pull Ausar Thompson?
Because his
shot wasn't falling?
Yeah.
Or because the defense wasn't there? Jamoke says anybody taller than Toby stops him.
I just want to say this real quick. We just saw Tobias post up Banchero. We just saw Tobias post up Mobley. He can shoot over these guys. And imagine if he's shooting over their bench.
Their second unit, yeah.
Not their starters.
That's cake. That's easy. That's barbecue chicken all day.
I highlighted earlier today. We saw him sink shots over Tyson, the young guy, and we saw him sink shots over Schroeder, the vet. He can do it. He can do that move on anyone. And we saw him doubled tonight too. He's being doubled because his turnaround basket has been so consistent and so automatic, and teams cannot figure out how to stop it without doubling him, no matter the height, no matter the size. And that, and we've talked about it because if you go back, Deuce and I have talked about his size on defense, whatever, but on offense, he's not afraid to shoot over the big guys.
Exactly.
And if he's the guy that we bring into the second unit and we bring Stu up with their defense, then his size on defense isn't necessarily a factor the way that these other guys defend.
Facts. And I'm gonna end it with this, boss. 313 responds and says, what more defense do you need, dog? We need more offense, man. So guys, I don't normally do this, but I just pulled up the post-game comments. I usually wait till after we finish so I can stay locked into what we're talking about. I had to do this because he just said this. JB said, guys, on the slow start, we've got to find a way to be the team that comes out swinging and kicking. If we're not defending, rebounding, or attacking the paint, then we are not playing Pistons basketball.
What happened today?
Nothing more needs to be said, bro.
Our
offense have to lead with that.
We've been winning. Our offense was atrocious the past 3 games. The offense was atrocious.
We won all of them.
And we still won. We lost 6-1 without Stu, but our offense sucked.
Yep.
Tonight, our offense was on. JD still hit his numbers with our offense on because that was another thing. Like, oh, the Pistons aren't shooting. That's the only way JD's hitting these numbers. Nope. He hits them when we're shooting too. Our defense is what is winning us games.
Yep.
And our offense, we want consistency from. Tonight was much more our style. This past week was tough. I have not seen worse offense from us all season. We've had like games like that, and then but very sporadically. But our defense is what is winning us these games. We're winning despite. That's been our word this week. We're winning despite shooting 19% from 3.
Winning ugly.
Despite, not making our free throws. We're winning despite these because of defensive moves. So our defense in the first half, especially the first quarter, which is why we took early timeouts, was bad. And that's why we weren't getting. We went like a couple people mentioned, if we had just played like we did the whole last 2 minutes of this game, that was when Ausar was getting stops. That's when Stu was fighting for loose balls. That's when Moo was grabbing steals. Our defense, our stops translating into offense is what has been our whole identity this year. And we just didn't get that till late because of stuff like that.
No, that you just made the most important point, like adding on to that, because what do we do best? When we get defensive stops, we get out in transition and get easy buckets. We had 10 transition points tonight. That ain't gonna get it done. So it ain't just about getting it done in a half court. We get so many easy points off of our turnovers, off of our defense, and anybody can score in a transition bucket. You don't need a skill set to get a score in a transition bucket, but you need a skill set to be able to get stops, to be able to get out and get those easy buckets. You don't have to have a ridiculously talented offensive team to put up good numbers offensively. It starts with the defense. If you can get easy stops or good stops, you can get easy scores. If you don't get stops, those scores are going to come harder. It's going to be harder for your offense, for a team that's already not a great offensive team. If you're not getting stops defensively to help your offense, you're going to struggle even more. So it has to start at that end. Defensive possessions get you easy offensive scores. right? So if you don't get that, now you're struggling in the half court like we were tonight, like we've done all year whenever we've lost games, just because we're trading buckets. We're taking the ball out of the hoop. We're not getting the stops. And now we got to go to our half court offense and try to rely on Tobias Harris to go in the post and get something done.
And I agree with Petey here. The Cavs played great defense on us. They played better defense.
They were good.
I would say overall. Like we did pick up our defense, but like they played decent defense for 48 minutes, where we played really good defense for 24.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, I agree.
I have to give them that credit as well. So it's not, it's just, that just goes to show, like, we just have to match up on both ends. But yes, I completely agree with everything you're saying, because it's, I mean, that's what our defense has been winning us games since we started this season. Not since we started, but maybe a few games in. All I've heard is we need another shooter.
Yeah.
All I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
We're still winning.
We're still winning.
And I know, guys, I know the playoffs are coming. It's going to be different in the playoffs for all teams. It's going to be different for all teams.
Right.
And so if we have a locked-in identity that has kept us winning from game, I would rather us go 19% from three, but double our transition points.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how we play basketball.
Exactly.
That means that we're getting stops and preventing them from scoring, and we're getting points in the paint. So
Lily says, so many games this year, I wanted to keep the bench. I keep wanting the bench to come into the game. That's kind of backwards. I felt the same way at times.
We thought that too. We thought that way, like this past week. Like we were like, because we talked about that, because you were like, isn't it kind of pathetic that we're just like, okay, but when the bench comes in, because our bench is so, I think we are one of the deepest teams in the league for sure. I know we're one of the deepest teams, and these other teams definitely have their guys. Like the Cavs have Schroeder off the bench, like the guy, they have their guys. But like compared to like the Knicks, compared to some other teams, our bench guys definitely outweigh them. But I agree, because there've been too many times where I'm just like, all right, well, let's just get our bench in. And so that just goes to show, again, some argument for a little bit of an adjustment in the starting lineup to make sure that our tone is set right away.
Yeah. Yeah. So once again, this is still an evaluation year. I see those changes coming next year, right? I'm not hell bent on winning the championship this year or bust. That ain't how this is. And I think had we been, 45 games or 35 games at this point last year, 10 games over 500 this year, nobody will be saying, oh, championship or bust. It's still an evaluation year, bro. Just because we're doing way better than we thought ahead of schedule, that's just a positive. It's not a negative. Right. So, we're still right where we should be. And in this offseason, we make the necessary change. I'm not saying we don't add more offense. I'm just saying we got to make sure we don't compromise our defense in the process. Because if we add a ton of shooting, we're not going to be better just because we got more shooting, because we're not a shooting team. Honestly, we're a defensive team that is going to add some shooting. That's literally it.
Go get Jalen Tyson. I want him.
Go get Trey Murphy. Anyway.
Don't you guys want him after tonight?
I want Trey Murphy.
Well, of course, but like Jalen would be cheaper if needed. But I also want to point this out.
I like Tyson though. Go ahead.
Nah, y'all want Tobias for MPJ. I just want to say
that wasn't the story like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, ever since MPJ, guys, ever since the trade deadline, he has been the bottom 5 in field goal percentage. And it made my jaw drop tonight because the Nets lost. And I was just like, the Nets we have coming up twice. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I'll look at the stat line real quick. He went 2 for 17. He went 0 for 9 from 3. You all give me my props now for telling you that.
I told y'all, man. She watched Denver for years. She lives in Denver, guys. She knows what she's talking about, man.
I've watched MPJ do this out of things. So just so you know, 0 for 9 from 3. Duncan's never done that for us.
Nah. And some of y'all can tell. Some of y'all don't really remember when the Pistons were winning what it looked like. Because some of y'all comments are really showing your age or lack thereof. Like it's cool. It's cool. But we're going to win a certain way. If you're going to be a Pistons fan, you're going to have to adapt to how we are and how we get it done. It's not going to be with offense. It ain't going to be with finesse. It's going to be with defense first. Always. This is not going to change. It's what's going to be. It is what it is.
And I will just say, no shade to anybody too, but because me and Deuce, like we gave our ages earlier. Like we've been in it for a while. We've seen multiple championships, and then we've seen the years of nothing. And so I definitely give it up to the people who weren't, aware of the 04 year, even the 05 through like the 2010 year of us making the Asia Conference Finals. Like it's I understand the urgency. I get it. But the 04 year was built kind of brick by brick too. They were leading towards the championship based on the years prior, and that's kind of how we are. And same with the Bad Boys, exactly. So I think that's kind of where we are. And of course, it's okay to be urgent. You guys, everybody just wants the best for their team. We're excited. We want to see these guys succeed and win. But
and last thing, in 02, 03, 04, when they were trying to build that same team as the Bad Boys, people were saying the same thing. Man, that was 14 years ago when y'all did. That was 15 years ago. The league has changed. Guys, they were saying this in 2003, 2004, that the Pistons trying to restore their roots and play the way, go against the grain. They were saying that then. That was a long time ago. It always happens this way with us. We win the same way. It doesn't matter. We always buck the trend. We always get it done. No matter how much time has gone by, if you have the right vision and the right core in place, you can get it done however you want. So that's all I'll say about that. Go ahead, boss.
Just quickly, I will just say that, of course, we have Cade as like literally an MVP runner this year. But like the 04 team was a team effort. You didn't know who was going to pop off. You didn't know if it was going to be a Hamilton game, if it was going to be a Wallace game, if it was going to be a Chauncey game, if it was going to be a Prince game. You didn't know. Hunter game. You didn't know. And so it was just a team effort, and that's kind of the direction I feel like we're going to. And even then, guys, like even the 04 years, like people weren't sold on Rasheed Wallace coming in. People weren't sold on when we brought Bennett. People weren't sold on some people after we had to break up the Jerry Stackhouse, the Grant Hill. The people weren't sold. They weren't sold on us. But we got it done. So it's okay to have your hesitations. Yeah. But then, just check yourself and just be grateful for me. I'm just this team is not a first round exit playoff team. If they're a first round exit team, I would genuinely be shocked. And that's something I couldn't say 2 years ago.
Yeah, for sure. And last comment, First Class King said, Gumby said, Pistons had Zeke, DeMars, and Vinny Johnson, all bucket getters. That is true. First and foremost, they also all play defense too. Zeke played defense, DeMars was a lock, and Vinny played defense as well. So we just need our third offensive threat when we're trying to get to that level of being a championship team. We've got Cade, we've got JD. We need one more guy who can give us that two-way play on both sides. Because Vinny Johnson was not just a scorer. He wasn't just a microwave. He played defense too.
Yeah.
Zeke played defense. Joe D, MJ says the toughest opponent to score against was Joe Dumars ever. Those guys still all led with the defense.
The player who holds the most steals in a postseason is Isaiah Thomas.
There you go.
Isaiah Thomas holds the record for most steals in a postseason.
There you go. 100%. So it's going to start with what, boss?
Defense.
Okay. Let's go to our last guy, boss. We'll leave it there. Let's go to Isaiah Stewart in this game, boss. Tonight, guys, Stu finished with, what does Stu finish with? Let me post up. Stu finished with 4 points on 2 of 4 shooting, 2 boards, 2 assists, 1 turnover, and 3 stocks, stealing the block in 22 minutes. So take off on Stu tonight, boss, in his first game after a 7-game absence.
Just fantastic to see him. And guys, I'm going to give him a little grace because, again, it wasn't just 7 games, but it was 7 games plus the All-Star break. It was a month. He was gone for a month.
Yeah.
It was a lot, and he couldn't even be with his team. And they even Natalie Kerwin asked Greg Kelser about what that is mentally. And he said that it's probably going to take a little bit for him to just get back into it. He noticed the excitement. We all noticed the excitement. So the stat line doesn't give a lot, but I will say, so he had, like you said, 4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, but 3 stocks. And that's something even before All-Star, we weren't seeing consistent stocks from him as we had earlier in the season. So he came out and he showed that. So some positives I saw from him tonight were in the second, he blocked Mobley. Beautiful. In the third, he almost turned the ball over, but he fought for the loose ball to prevent the turnover. Ended up getting JD to the free throw line because he got to JD and JD got fouled. He blocked Thomas Bryant, I just like go back and forth because every time he makes a play, he's just like, yeah.
He's annoying. I cannot stand that
It's
dude.
annoying, but at
Bro,
the
you're
same time,
not him, bro.
okay. But if that's what amps you up, I mean, they won tonight, so
Get him out of here, bro. If
He
Paul
also
Reed's playing, he ain't doing none of that. I'm
he
sorry.
had a good game against us last game, so I think
If
that
Paul Reed is playing, he ain't doing none of that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I think that carried over a little bit into tonight, but he was on one for some reason tonight. But it was nice to see Stu block him. And then in the fourth, he stripped Harden, which led to the Ausar free throws. He got up to Ausar, so he was there on defense. Like Stu's defensive presence was prevalent. I saw one where like I think he went up for a block and it wasn't even him down low. He was on the perimeter and then he came in to try to block it and it was a little late and Schroeder like pointed at him and Stu just went, what? Like, I don't see Stu animated on the floor a lot, but he was looking at Schroeder like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, I would have got, and we know Stu, he'll go up for it even if it's impossible. Like, he will just challenge at the rim. And so that's kind of how it was. I also saw him, I think he was being held a little bit because I saw him complain to the refs at one point, and that's something that Stu never does. He was coming back and he went up to the ref and I just saw him on the sideline talking to him while Cade was bringing the ball up. It's just not something that Stu does. So I think he was, probably being held a little bit there, but so, not the amazing, like, not this crazy, like, oh, he missed 7 games and he K'd up and showed out, but he showed out in Stu ways. He was 2 for 4. So and all of them were at the rim and a couple of them were near misses. I think he could have gotten them in, maybe gotten the benefit of a contact foul. He was just fighting through people. So I'll take that. If you're fighting through, he had nothing easy. So if you're fighting through defenders and you go 50% from the field goal, I'm fine. I'm cool with it. He didn't attempt any threes, which we know he can drain. He didn't have no free throws. The rebounds is probably the most shocking thing that he only ended up with 2. But it's also not, he had 1 offensive, 1 defensive. It's not too shocking to me because we did out rebound Cleveland. So I think that he had help with like Wu and Ron on some of those because those guys recorded some. So especially Ron had 5. So there's some guards came flying in to help him out there, but probably, and like I said, Cade fed him a lot in the second half. So I think they're just trying to get him going.
Yep.
But this is a guy I'm going to give grace to because he's just coming back.
Yeah. I
mean, honestly, the 3 stocks alone is what we've missed. And so I'm happy to see that. And we just played more like ourselves. And so him in the rotation just gives the guys a lot of just stability and just like steadiness because they know what's coming. They all know how to play with each other. So I predict that he'll have a better game coming up. Again, I'd rather his pop-off game be against San Antonio than the Cavs. So if that's what's coming, I can't be mad at his return because he definitely did his role, especially on defense.
He didn't play great by his standards in this game.
Exactly.
He looked rusty. He looked rusty. I ain't gonna lie. He looked rusty. Like playing practice and in game is totally different. And you could just see the little things that make him great, like his timing, his anticipation. All those things were off tonight. All the little things when he's timing his blocks, which he still had some nice blocks. Evan Mobley tried to dunk on him, and he said no. He turned him away quickly. I think he might have blocked him twice in this game. No, he blocked James Harden, I think, away. He took the ball away from James Harden. So that's the thing.
He blocked Bryant.
He was good on the perimeter and in the paint. He had a block at the rim, and he took the ball. Like he was guarding the paint. He was guarding James Harden on an island, but by himself.
That's why.
Honestly, we saw guys like Tobias Harris kind of getting blown by guys like James Harden, but Stu was right in front. So I thought even though he's been rusty, even though he was rusty tonight, like he still showed his impact because he's able to still impact the game on the perimeter and in the paint. So once he gets that timing back, once he gets that rhythm back, we're gonna see him in no time. I'm not worried about him at all.
I just want to say that's why Wu was on Mobley because that's when Stu was in and he was on the perimeter on Harden, which again, but that goes because I said the same thing about last game that when Duren had to guard Mobley on the perimeter, they were able to get better shots in the paint. So that's why you can argue for a two big lineup because one of your guys can stay under the basket and one of your guys can stay in the perimeter. So he did have a couple, and he did have a couple of looks at 3. But he did pass it up. And that just, again, kind of shows me a little bit of rustiness, a little bit of just trying to get back in the game because he doesn't shy away from an open 3 if he has it.
Agreed. So, I'm going to give him a couple games to get back into that rhythm because the details is honestly where he shines. And it just seemed like tonight he was just a little bit off with his timing. So I'm gonna give him a few games, couple games. Probably he only needs one more game. Maybe even next game he'll return to that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna quickly. I know we're almost 2.5 hours in. I gotta educate some of y'all. I guess for some reason I gotta educate y'all because I'm seeing some comments in here that showing that you guys watch the highlights instead of actually watching the games. These comments I'm seeing about 04 Pistons, y'all off base, bro. Like I'm seeing those teams in the 90s didn't have to play super teams. You need more than just defense. Bro, do you remember who the Pistons played in 2004? They played the Lakers, who ran through the West. That was the epitome of a super team.
It's the Kobe, Shaq, Karl Malone.
Kobe, Shaq, Karl Malone, Gary Payton. All those guys. Those guys. He's an all-star. But all those guys, and we bucked the trend. And it was a 5-game sweep. 5-game sweep. And it wasn't like we hit a ton of threes in that series either. We were doing the same thing we do now. Get stops, be disruptive, and get out in transition. The same thing we do now is what we did then. We had guys like Chauncey who could shoot the three. Rip wasn't shooting threes yet. She was taking the occasional three, but he was taking his behind that block and going to work on guys like Medvedenko, Karl Malone, who couldn't score on him because they weren't big enough. Lindsey Hunter told me that he said to Karl Malone, he told Phil Jackson to tell Karl Malone, don't put him out here. He can't guard me. He told Medvedenko, don't come out here. He can't guard me in the post. But those guys are getting it done by turning you over. They run the half court when they needed to with Rip coming off screens and running action off that, but they were turning you over and getting out in transition, and the Lakers were too old to keep up. That was why they won. The same thing they did then, they're doing right now. Nothing has changed.
And they're gonna, if you do know, then you know that it's been Detroit versus everybody, and that's a slogan for a reason. So they're gonna make the excuses. Oh, Kobe's legal troubles, Kobe and Shaq fighting, Karl Malone got injured, blah, 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 blah. We still won. And also, guys, not only did we win that, we went to the finals the next year and then the Eastern Conference Finals the 5 years after that. Like, we were a dominant team. And none of it, you couldn't ever point to one guy leading that team. It's why we didn't have an MVP. The Pistons have never had a regular season MVP.
And 3-1-3, that was a historical defense. We are far from that. Listen, they weren't historical in 2002, 2003. They were when they were ready to contend for a championship, when they were ready to get over that hump. We're not there yet. I'm not saying this is 2004, but I'm saying this is 2002, 2003. There's no reason we should think with these internal guys, with these guys' internal growth, that we can't be one of the top defenses we've seen in a long time. We're not. See, that shows me you're rushing the process. You're rushing the process, and you're focused on one season. We've never built out one season. The Bad Boys had a 5-year window. 87 to 91. The 04 team had a 6-7 year window.
Yes.
This team is also not trying to do it one season. They're doing the same things they saw the other Pistons team do. That's why I'm saying you got to really look at the history to really understand how they're doing this, and you're rushing the process right now, bro. So I'm gonna leave it there. You know, had to educate y'all a little bit, man, because some of y'all details on this stuff who didn't live it. I'm not saying you didn't, but some of y'all can tell y'all didn't live it. Because we are talking, y'all kind of showing that right now.
NBA League Pass is probably super cheap right now because it's close to the end of the season. You can go watch Pistons classic games. You can watch they have every finals series from 1990 until now, 36 years, 35 years. Crazy. So go watch the 90 Pistons, go watch the 2004 Pistons, go watch the 2005 Pistons. I just don't watch game 7 of that series. Go watch them just to see, because you're going to see it. And I just have to say too, and I reiterated it earlier, of course, we want this team to go far. We've said it before on this podcast. If the Pistons or Spurs make the finals, it's historic, because young teams with such little playoff experience haven't gone there. So for me, it's just if we win a playoff series this year, I am thrilled.
It's all about steps.
I want this team to go super far. As people have noted, more scoring, more this, more that. There's another piece we need. I think we're all pretty and agreeable.
Yeah, we agree. Yeah, for sure.
Another piece.
But you don't go to the finals after not winning a playoff series year before, bro. That's not even realistic. That's what Boss is saying. It'd be historic if the Pistons and Spurs both got to the finals this year.
It'd be historic and exciting.
Not realistic, bro.
So for right now, our team focus should be getting through, winning a playoff series, and that's kind of where I feel like it is. And so when you critique this team, when you think about this team, think about the series, and The Cavs are not a team we'll see in first round. They're a team we would see in later rounds. But if we make it to a first round, that to me already tells me that we can beat other rounds.
Yep.
Honestly.
Exactly.
And
so
it's
confidence. Yeah, experience.
And so just it's gonna be unless the season ends in a championship, we're gonna be disappointed. Like 29 other fan bases,
I won't even be disappointed
not
though.
Disappointed, but I'll say you can be disappointed if we make it to the finals and lose. But
okay. But not like it's a failed season. I got you. Okay.
You can be disappointed in a second round exit. You can be like sad that it's over, but just remember that 2 years ago, this wasn't even close to our radar. For not even 2 years ago, but for like 10 years before then, even when we made the playoffs with like Blake and Andre,
we never thought we got a chance.
It was kind of barely. It was like
never
the playing teams now. You're just kind of like, oh, that's cute.
Right.
Sure. Your little playing tournament. Let's see how, like, you made the playoffs. Good job, kind of thing.
Yep.
And so I agree. I just have to say that because
perspective.
I do hope though, we haven't had a back-to-back loss since December. So I do hope our next one is a big one. And then after this kind of evens out a little bit. We have some guys, we see the Timberwolves for the first time. We see the Sixers who can give us problems. Like we see good teams still. But after this one, we're almost done with our hardest stretch. And we've gone, 6-2 in our hardest stretch.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree. Yeah. So we'll see how that works out for sure. Yeah, Devon, it's about the window, bro. Nothing's guaranteed. We get that. But you want to put yourself in position when you spend all this time trying to get this young talent to play together so they can have a runway. The dumbest thing you can do is do anything that's going to short that window, like just cut that window short. That doesn't even make sense logically. That doesn't even make sense. So yeah, the Cavs are in their window. Like they know their guys are getting older. D. Mitch hasn't hasn't gone to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's hanging over his head. They got to do something to make sure that he gets over that hump. They're trying to do everything they can now. Push their chips into the middle, shorten their window, let Darius Garland go, bring in Harden. Like they're trying to go now. We're not there. We're nowhere near that. So if we don't win this year, I don't care who's coming back next year. If we are where we're supposed to be, one move or two here, I don't care about Hallie. I'm not concerned about Jason Tatum. No, listen, we can beat anybody if we are playing the way we're supposed to play and we add one or two pieces, maybe even just one. I'm not worried about anybody else.
And this is how I feel. The top three teams in the league are OKC, us, and the Spurs. Very young teams. The OKC just has 2 more years of development on us and the Spurs. These are going to be teams that we will see, that we will battle against. These are going to be good teams, but we're in their level. We're on their level.
Yeah.
We're on their level. And so the three teams that have been built kind of through draft, kind of within, no one's traded. I mean, the Spurs did get De'Aaron Fox and stuff, but no one's traded for anything crazy. The young teams are the ones that are dominating the league right now. And the window, I would say, is definitely not close to close for OKC, but their window opened a few years ago. Our window just opened, and the Spurs window just opened.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's about timing.
Yes, exactly. The timing is everything.
Project out 3 years, boss. Mm-hmm. Are the Knicks getting any younger?
No. And
are the Cavs getting any younger? Are the Sixers getting any younger?
Nope.
But guess what? As they're getting older, we're entering our prime.
Mm-hmm.
You want to push it all in the middle of the table now just to try to compete with those guys and have your window in the same window as theirs? Or, okay, we're still going to compete, but as you guys kind of age out, we're going to be aging into our prime and we're going to be better than everybody.
Right.
That's the key. That's how you sustain a window.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've even listened to Knicks fans say that if Brunson doesn't give them a championship year, they don't want to sign him to the max.
See what I'm saying? He's going to blow it up.
Because this is where they've been and they've plateaued. And I could see the same for the Cavs. If the Cavs don't go far this year, how are you going to keep running people, And so these teams have definitely built up to try to compete with us. And it's just incredible that we've been able to compete with kind of a ragtag group. Of course we have Cade Cunningham, but it's a ragtag group of guys. It's not Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, all-stars and MVPs in their own right. It's not Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Derek White, previous NBA champions. It's
Right.
the Pistons who have come together as a team and had this talent really take them pretty far.
Yep. 313 says some of these haters are just scared Pistons fans who never seen this win before. I'm not gonna say that because I don't know where you guys have all been, but I'm just saying I've seen it. I've seen it multiple times how it's been done. I've seen multiple runs. I've seen what it looks like. I've seen what all the naysayers said about it doesn't work. They're aged out, and I've seen the Pistons continually buck the trend and win anyway. And I'm seeing now this organization doing the same thing that those teams did before. So I have confidence because I've seen it myself.
I'll say that, I'm a Cubs fan. I'm split in Chicago. I'm Lions, Pistons, Cubs, Blackhawks.
Yeah.
But I'm a Cubs fan, and when they won their World Series, it was kind of like you had the fans that have been around forever rooting for this team to win, and it's just finally there. And you had the fans who are like, oh, we're finally good. Let me hop in. So it's a little different. But like, when you are a fan that's waiting for, if you're a fan that started tuning in 05, 06, and you didn't necessarily get to experience the 04 championship, of course you're like eager for this team to win. You're eager for a championship, especially if you know our history, especially if you know these things. Like I do not blame you guys at all for like being eager, because I'm eager too, but I just want to do it the right way. I don't want to lose on anything like, or I don't want to win on like having to bring in all-stars and sell our young team and be a one-off. I don't want to win on all the other teams being injured, tearing their Achilles. Like, I want to win fairly. And our team can do that. Our team can do that.
For sure. If you want to compare Ja Morant to Cade Cunningham, go ahead and do that, bro. I can't help you. So anyway, I'm gonna leave that there, boss. Let's go ahead and recap for tonight, man, before we go to 3 hours almost. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us for sure. But guys, so up next for the Pistons, guys, is a rematch against the Spurs, as boss mentioned, in San Antonio this coming Thursday. And I am looking forward to that game for sure. Here's a look at the schedule, guys. We get it. The Pistons, they got their first real look at Wemby about a week ago. And that game was the only Pistons loss during that stretch with Stu out. And boss, the Spurs are a good team. They're a very good team. They're a team that brings you size, shooting, physicality, and defensively. Defensively, they're very disciplined. So I'm looking forward to seeing what adjustments the Pistons are going to make in that rematch Thursday, especially now that we have Stu back. I'm sure Cade has probably watched film and trying to figure out ways he can be effective in the paint with the guy like Wemby there, because that was kind of a struggle. So any thoughts you have quickly on this matchup with the Spurs on Thursday?
Look, I told you guys I think that whoever we lose to will beat again. I told you I think we would beat the Spurs. I made a bet, actually. The only person, feel free to put in your 2 cents, but I made a bet. I think the only person, I was like, you guys tell me what to do. And someone said that if we lose, I'd chug a warm beer.
Oh yeah.
Boring. Tell me if there's a better one. But
that's the one, boss. That's the one.
I'll do it. I have to get a beer. I don't have beer in my house, but I'll do it because I really truly think that we can. And for me, I think our approach is, of course, shutting down Wemby. But Wemby hasn't had the best. Like, he's had a few off games. Like, Wemby isn't their biggest threat, which is crazy to say about the Spurs. He is, of course, like, you have to shut him down, but you have to shut down 2 or other people. Tonight, they beat the Sixers by 40 points.
That's what somebody just said. Michael just said
Wemby's stat line was 10, 8, and 4.
Wemby?
Yeah.
They got a good team.
I'll say that he did have 3 steals and 6 blocks, which is disgusting. But
that's crazy.
The Sixers were able to slow him down without Embiid. So I'm guessing, I haven't checked, but I'm guessing he's out. Yeah, he was out. So like Vassell.
What was the final score?
131-91.
So they only gave up 90 points.
Yes.
So what's that mean, boss? They got it done with what?
Defense.
Ooh, surprise. Who would have thought?
Which, I mean, it looks like
y'all, man.
Wemby had 9 stocks, which is nuts. Cornette had
9
a block.
stocks is stupid.
Lindy Waters even got to play, and he had
Lindy.
a steal.
Shout out to Lindy.
The Sixers gave up early because they basically the whole fourth was the third string of both teams. So, but Dylan Harper with 22 points, and he just won Rookie of the Month.
Did he? Okay. Good for him.
And he had 22 points, and then Vassell had 22 as well. Castle had a double-double and 15 points, 10 assists. So
he's nice. I like him.
Their guards are going to have to, like, we have our big guys, and this is another squad where like B-ball should get minutes, because to me, all that says is that you're keeping your bigs warm against Wemby.
Exactly.
And even
those fouls
can pop off every now and then. But it's going to be perimeter defense once again against this team. So who's hot? They just lost against the Knicks, and they just put up 40 against the Sixers. They want to keep. They won all their games in February, an 11-0 streak. So they're gonna. But I bet that we would win because the way we were playing. If our offense tonight matches our defense that it was against them, then it's easy. Our offense was just way off, and that's why.
Yeah, I mean, but I gotta give them credit because they play really good defense too.
Absolutely,
so it's just like,
and they do. This is a team that I've really enjoyed watching. If you guys,
me too.
You guys weren't here, really keep your eyes on Vassell, Castle, Harper, Keldon Johnson. Those four guys I really enjoyed. Yeah,
shoot the ball. Yeah, they got a good team.
Really shoot the ball. Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it is gonna be fun. So. But I do think that we win this one. I do.
Okay. On the road? Okay. Yes. Okay. You don't see nobody sweeping us this year? I ain't mad at that at all. Okay, we'll see, guys. We'll see. I'm gonna leave it there, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too, boss. It's gonna be nice to see them. I'm glad Stu got a chance to play, to kind of get warm. Like what Skill said, like he got a chance to kind of get his feet wet, get back into a rhythm, hopefully, because we're gonna need him next game against Wemby, obviously. I want to see that 2 big lineup, obviously. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to it, boss. So we'll leave it there, guys. Been a great show, man. A lot of great comments, a lot of great discourse. Even if we don't always agree, we always keep it pimping, always keep it, civil, like I love. So yeah, man, we are gonna go ahead and end it there, guys. But we appreciate you for showing up, as you guys always do, showing out. Make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe if you are new. And we hope you guys have a great night. Be safe, stay warm, and y'all know the drill, man. Detroit versus everybody. See y'all Thursday.
All the dirty work, all dog. I'ma dive on the floor, go try to block every shot, and I'ma be physical with you the whole game. You know Stu gonna be physical with you. When you think of the Pistons, you think it's just hard work and just gritty basketball. That's just the identity you gotta have when you put on that jersey.
I'm not your average breed of canine. Not a good dog, I'm bad boy for life. I set the tone, don't care about no tick. Let it be known, I get my respect. Come in the lane and see I don't bluff. If you retaliate, that's on ya. Talking pundits, I hear you're ashamed. Talking that shop, you must want this way. Tryna tell ya, if the dog palm, mess around, find out, if the dog palm, mess around, find out, for some barbecue sauce, boy, you better cough a hill, cause I'm like that. When you're ready for some barbecue sauce, boy, you better cough a hill, cause I'm like that.